35. Musically, this means it's time for some bossa nova.
Good evening, and welcome to Game Night on Tuesday, the 1st of November. Happy 1st of the month. Hope everyone is doing well. And rip my tree. I like that tree. It's very sad. But the storm it taketh away, but also the storm giveth, in terms of probably a year's worth of wood that we can burn on the fire. And remember the tree and how much it gave to us. In fairness, the tree is still standing, but there's a big branch has come out of it, and it's quite distressing. Clive, thank you very much for that 35-month resub. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the ongoing support, pushing the 3-year bet. Has it really been that long? Goodness me. Well, I'm hugely grateful to you for the support. Thank you very much for continuing to frequent this little corner of the internet. Hope everyone is well. Right, exciting things are happening tonight. First of all, my computer's hopefully got its blue screen of death stuff out of its system, because it did it before I even went live, so that's fun. I'm wearing shorts before anyone wonders if they can see my legs, but nothing else. I am wearing clothes. So exciting stuff tonight. We've got the Hive to start with. It's a pack by Sotley, and it's a damn good one, if I say so myself. Proofed it this morning. It's very much in my wheelhouse, so I might be slightly biased towards it, but I enjoyed reading it through a lot, and I'm sure you will as well. A little bit later on, we have got some stuff coming. New game, pilot episode of New Game. Overexciting the Victorian maidens. I can only apologise. Are you a Victorian maiden, Clive, in this particular scenario? Message from our sponsor, Zeusless.
Horse racing manifest, horse racing, certain horse racing things, horse racing for horse racing, the horse racing stuff, horse racing wonder, horse racing, what horse racing is.
Horse racing back at you as well, Zeus. Thank you for the 21-month subscription there with Prime. Very grateful to you. There are no horses in the next game, is what I can say. Giddy up indeed. So, yeah, apart from my tree falling down in the storm in the night, there's a new game coming later on, Pack by me. Very exciting. Looking forward to it. It feels quite robust, and it uses Hackbox. And it's a game that couldn't actually work in Twitch chat for reasons that will become clear later on. I'll say a bit more about that in a while. But first of all, we're going to get this game of the Hive underway. It's back from its Sotley. Like I said, really very pleasing pack. I think we'll have a lot of fun with this tonight. Reminder, if you want to play in the hot seat, you A, need to be in the Discord, and B, need to have a microphone, and you need to join this lobby when I open it in a moment. Discord is right there in case you need it. If you don't want to play in the hot seat game for whatever reason, that's completely fine. You can join in the Hive Mind game, but you don't need to join this lobby. There's no exclusion method for this lobby. So if you join this lobby, there is a chance you will be picked. If you just want to play in the Hive Mind on the sort of the sideline lobby game, do not join this lobby, because if you're picked, I can't re-roll, which is probably something I should do something about. It wouldn't be a particularly difficult patch, but just easy if we don't join it in the first place. So if you want to play, pop in the code. NTFM is the code you need tonight. Let's get you some Hive bonuses as well. Initiate bonus. Yep. Hive bonus points coming your way. If you would like to claim those now, do so. There are still some things on this build that I haven't fixed from when we did it at QNL. The QNL build had some better quality of life input about it that I haven't gotten around to updating in this version yet. One thing I have gotten doing, and thank you to Apodo for pointing this out. I don't think he's here at the moment, but Apodo pointed out to me in a private message that I'd been a little bit lax on updating the credits for various games. So that is something I've been making a point of doing, even if it is just reflecting the writers for any given season, rather than every writer who's ever written for it. Yeah, that's something I've become more conscious of, and things are being updated in that department, which is nice. In the meanwhile, good evening to Dev and Zeus and Prugs and ABMe and Dragon and James. Good evening, Fired and Scorecount, and to Daru and Ape and Oni and Jogging, Fernando and Samster, Puzzle Dan and Topper, Clive, Nato, Shadowbane, Colo, Nekka Grandma and Shapes, and anyone else who is lurking, loitering and lingering in the chat. You are most welcome to be here. Thank you so much for joining me for what promises to be a very exciting game night. I'm gonna give it. I'll probably give it to the end of this sting. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players in the lined up to potentially be in the hot seat. Hoping maybe a few more may appear in the Hive itself. Maybe people just want to have a quieter game for now. I'm just going to stop that bonus right there. So, Hive, written by Sotley. Oh. Before anyone asks, which you may or may not have done, you possibly couldn't care less, but this is not Prosecco, this is Schlur, which is a sort of quasi-fizzy grape juice substitute. I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but I am 4 days sober. No, you mustn't say things like that, Oni. You mustn't goad me. If in case you don't know what Schlur is, there you go, yeah. I'm 4 days sober now. Thank you, Dev. Yeah, I very much enjoyed the QNL game as well. Yeah, and I'm gonna sort of keep on it for a bit. And great soda. Welcome to the stream, Jack. Good to have you. Yeah, I'm gonna sort of see how long I can keep this sober gig up for, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's pick ourselves a player to take on. It's Sotley's question pack in the Hive. Same. Yeah, the difference is before that it was significantly less than 4 days. It's counted in hours rather than days prior to that. Anyway, let's see how we... Oh yeah, same Dev. Let's pick ourselves a player to play in the Hive tonight. That looks like a Minky to me, and my log is confirming. Minky, you are in control of the Hive. Head down to the grill. You could possibly just come to the broadcast studio, but if you want to have a quick sound test with Colo, he's in the green room for you. Let's check in my sound settings are good. I'm just going to share the screen so that you can see what's going on in real time. Screen 2 apparently today. Hey Minky, it is your moment to control the Hive. Make your way yonder, and the game will begin shortly. Still to the Hive as Ape's drone. Yes, indeed. Ape's drone. Are you still with us, Ape? Are you afoot? Are you afoot? I see you in the green room right there. We'll bring you into the game in just a moment, and we'll get underway. Look at me, keeping things snappy. Control the Hive, lest the Hive controls ye. Indeed, wise words. You're a wise sage, dragon, so you are. Mr. Minky, good evening.
Oh, good evening, Ben.
How are you keeping, sir?
I'm doing fine, yeah.
Excellent. Have you got any storms over the way and your side of the pond?
Not that I've noticed. It's been pretty nice weather outside, kind of like that span between summer and winter where it's like the perfect temperature outside, and then I suppose given a few days it'll just be like frigid snow everywhere.
It'll just sort of plummet, won't it?
Yeah.
Your clocks don't change for a couple of weeks, do they?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
So yeah, that's when you sort of start looking outside. It's 4:30 and it looks like it's the middle of the night. That winter is coming, Ape. Winter is coming, as always. Now, you have been selected to control the Hive tonight. How very exciting. Have you seen or played this game before?
I saw the replay of Quiz Night Live, so at least I have that behind me. So
you've got a sort of a relatively recent understanding of the mechanics. Yeah. Well, you've got the complicated job, and I'll be here to hold your hand throughout in case you need some pointers or some guidance. The Hive, which is everybody else in the lobby, their job is simply to answer the questions to the best of their ability. Your job is to both do that, but also judge the Hive in getting through the questions. It's played across 4 phases. There are 4 questions in each phase, and you will face 3 of them. For each phase, you must answer one yourself. You must use the Hive at least once, and then the other one is up to you. The options on using the Hive are to trust or to mistrust. Trust assumes plurality will get a correct answer. Mistrust assumes the opposite. For every question you get right, more money is added to the bank, and for the questions that you don't choose to play, we'll put them into the final phase. You don't have to answer them, but the Hive will, and you'll have to basically pitch how you think they do to try and win a portion or all of your accumulated bank. Simples, right?
absolutely.
Good stuff. Well, 8Mick, it's a pleasure to have you here. Wish you the very best of luck in your game this evening. You ready to play?
I am so ready.
Let's play the Hive. If I focus on the right window. Starting in phase number 1, 20 points for this first question. 2 options on the first question, and your board is: which of these comedians was born earliest? Which of these men's football teams has won the most European Cups/Champions League? Which of these capital cities is located furthest south? And which of these horror film franchises has the most movies?
Ooh, okay. Given that Halloween was just yesterday, let's go ahead and start with the film franchises one.
Film franchises, okie dokie. Worth noting this is going to have 2 options, so in many ways it's arguably the easiest, but it does also depend, I suppose, what options get thrown up at you. We'll go over to the Hive first of all, so nice and quiet from you, Ape, just during this section. Hive, whispering to Persephone's Twitch bot, here's your first question. Which of these horror film franchises has the most movies? Friday the 13th or Child's Play? Time. So you've got a decent quota of worker drones. Yes, 27 players answering in the Hive. That's a fairly decent number. You familiar with either franchise, Ape?
Yeah, I guess on a surface level. I can't say that I've seen any of these movies through fully. Mm-hmm. Of those 2, I believe Friday the 13th is the older one, so I guess naturally that would make sense that would be the most.
Do you want to play?
I'm tempted because I feel if it's easy for me, then it's probably easy for them, and I don't know if I want to go ahead and. Actually, yeah, let's go for it myself. I will answer.
It leaves all your options open for later on as well, which is always
right.
A plus.
Right. So I'll play on Friday the 13th, please.
All right, we'll lock in Friday the 13th. We're going to see how the Hive got on. Green if you're right, red if you're not. Let's have a look. Tubular bells being appropriate for once. Yeah, Hive are all over that one there, as are you, Ape. 93% getting the correct answer, Friday the 13th. Hive, you get 1 point for every player who got it wrong, plus 1. So 2 players getting that one wrong, it means you get 3 points in the Hive for that correct answer. Yeah, Friday the 13th has got 12 in the series, whereas Child's Play only has 8. Other options that might have made things a bit scarier: Halloween with 13, Nightmare on Elm Street with 9, and Scream with 5. But no harm, no foul. Nice solid start, 20 points in the bag, Ape. Let's go back to the board. Comedians, European football, or capital cities?
This is going to be a tough one because I know people don't really like sport. So I think for a 3 answer, I think I'd be comfortable posing that one right now.
Okay. One thing to bear in mind, obviously, the question you don't use goes to the end of the game, and you want to be sort of keeping at the back of your mind, do you want to send an easy one or a hard one towards the end? Bear in mind they all have 5 options at that point. Just something to bear in mind. We'll go for the football question?
Yes, please.
Football it shall be. Hive, over to you. Which of these men's football teams has won the most European Cups/Champions League? Ajax, AC Milan, Real Madrid. Time. Anyone who's joining us late, you can join in with the Hive Mind at any point simply by whispering to the bot when the question appears in the chat. Are you familiar with any of these teams?
I have heard of them, and that's about it.
Right.
If I was going to take a guess, just a blind guess, I'd go AC Milan, just because in my head that feels the most familiar to me, but I haven't a clue. With that said, yeah, with that said, I think the Hive is going to be able to pick up on the nuance between these three here and figure out which one has the most. So I'm going to trust them that they got that right.
Okay. You would have said AC Milan if you were playing. Now, when you use the Hive, what we do is we lock in the correct answer first, and then we wait to see the lights in the Hive. So we're going to trust the Hive and lock in the correct answer, which is Real Madrid.
Ooh,
you would have been wrong.
okay.
Let's see if the Hive were any more accurate. Green if you're right. We want to see lots of green. Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
That's nice. Well done, Hive, and good decision there. Ape, 73% picking out the correct answer. Real Madrid there. And 8 points if you did give me that in the Hive. 19% go for AC Milan and 8% go for Ajax. Yeah, Real Madrid, 14, actually. Twice as many as the next most popular answer, which was AC Milan at 7. And then Ajax at 4. The other two that didn't come up, Steaua Bucharest. And they've won once, and Arsenal, who have never won it at all. They reached the 2006 final, but their goalkeeper got sent off after 18 minutes, and they lost 2-1 to Barcelona. Option didn't come up, but good decision to trust the Hive. You can't trust them again, you can mistrust them, or you can answer yourself. We've got one more question to play in this phase. That's another 30 points added to your total, 40 points for this next one, and 4 options to be displayed. Where would you like to go?
Knowing that there's the possibility that I can answer one of these, I think I'm going to go for the comedians one.
Comedians, okay. It means Capital Cities goes to the final phase. And it's Solly, welcome to the stream. Our question writer is amongst us, albeit without sound. Hive, over to you. Let's take a look at this comedians question. Which of these comedians was born earliest? Robin Williams, Rick Mayall, Eugene Levy, Paul Chuckle. Time. I'm guessing this is probably more your wheelhouse than football. These are probably names you recognise.
Yeah, the American ones for sure. The only one I haven't heard of is Rick Mayall. I feel with the name spelled like that, it's got to be a more recent birth. It just feels to me like that might just be, I don't know, like a modernization. But then again, it's a stage name, probably, so that might not mean anything. I feel like Eugene Levy is older than Robin Williams, but I don't know about Paul Chuckle.
I mean, you've got the option to mistrust the Hive as well if you don't think they'd know it, if you think their lack of knowledge is more likely than your knowledge would be, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Considering that if I tried to guess, I'd feel I would guess wrong. I feel that there's at least hope that I could mistrust them and still get the points. So I'll do that. Mistrust, please.
We will lock in the correct answer. If you were going to guess, what would you have said?
I probably would have tried for Paul Chuckle, actually.
Interesting. Eugene Levy was the answer. Paul Chuckle, the next youngest. So we're hoping that plurality of the Hive is with one of the others. Green if you're right. Lots of red is good.
That's good.
There's a bit of green. Ooh, close, but you have landed on the right side. Very well played, Ed. Good decision. Yeah, plurality landing with Paul Chuckle. Actually, your instinct as well. Not a lot in it, granted. Paul Chuckle, 1947. Eugene Levy, 1946. Robin Williams, 51. And Rick Mayall. He's Flash Art in Blackadder. And... he did Bottom with Adrian Edmondson, if you've come across that.
Not at all. These are all words that I have heard of, and not in that order.
Fair enough. The other one that could have come up there was Greg Davis, who was quite a bit later, 1968. But you've made the right decision there to mistrust the Hive. Hive, if you did give me Eugene Levy, very well played. That's 18 points for that one, 17 wrong answers. And Lupine, welcome to the stream. That's all but the end of that first phase. Let's just check out how we're getting on in the Hive at this point. Ticks by the names, by the questions you got right. A lot of players getting the first two, a couple getting the first and last, and we've got a handful, 7 players there, 3 for 3. Vision, Fernando, Dev, James, Dan, Shadamain, and Tadaru. And they're not the only ones 3 for 3. Ape, you've used the Hive twice and answered 1, but it's a perfect phase 1. You're up to 90 points. Maximum score so far. Well played. That's the end of phase 1. Nothing to it, am I right?
If they're all as easy as that, I'm going to be happy.
Well, the tradition is they do generally start to creep the difficulty up as the game goes on, but off to a very good start so far. Most southern capital cities is obviously going to be pushed down the path a little bit to the final phase. That question will come back in a little while, but you can put it from your mind for now. And it's not one that you'll have to answer anyway. Right. So, I think without any further ado, we're on a bit of a roll. Let's go on to phase number 2. Up to 50 points for this first question, starting again with 2 options, and here is your board. Which of these people held their political title for the shortest time? Which wonder of the world started construction the earliest? Which of these stars is nearest Earth? According to a recent national survey, which of these is the most popular Halloween costume for Brits in 2022?
Well, seeing as Halloween was just yesterday, no.
We're noticing a trend running through this.
Right, it's nice. I feel that of all those 4, I feel that might be the easiest. Considering the way the first one is worded, I'm feeling it's more worldly than just one country's rulers. So I think I'm going to start with the political title question.
Political titles, okay. Hive, over to you. 2 options. Have a look at this. Which of these people held their political title for the shortest time? Nadine Zahawi as Chancellor of the Exchequer or Grant Shapps as Home Secretary? Time. You're right to pick up on the political title part of that question, but it is very much in the UK. This slightly turbulent period of British politics we've been undergoing the last few weeks. Have you been keeping up with it, Abe?
It's hard to, with all the names just coming and whizzing by, and let's see here. I have no idea. It would just be a blind guess from me. Okay. So I almost wonder what that would also be to the Hive. I feel that they're more than likely to get this one right. Because if everybody's on a coin flip and there's those people who do know the answer, that's going to tip it the scale.
I will say this is all very recent British history, like in the last sort of year.
Right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and trust the Hive, please.
Sorry, trust or mistrust was that?
I will trust them.
You're
yes,
going to trust them. You think they'll know?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were going to play, what would you say?
We like Shapps. I'm going to go for Shapps.
You would say Shapps. Let's have a look. Would Shapps have been correct? Shapps would have been correct. Let's see if the Hive agree with you. We want to see lots of green here.
Okay, come on. Come on, Hive.
Oh, that's... our first airing there.
Oh, no.
No, just 30% getting Grant Shapps there. And over to our political editor, Jack Wilfred, for the full details. Grant Shapps as Home Secretary, as he pointed out, so for 6 days between Suella Braverman and Suella Braverman. Nadine Zahawi, Jack, is going to tell us now, see if he's got the information to hand. So I'll beat him to it. Nadine Zahawi served for 63 days So quite a bit longer. 8 weeks between Rishi Sunak's resignation and Liz Truss becoming PM. So yeah, the only short one, Grant Shapps, believe it or not, at 6 days was not the shortest. Jack will tell us in a minute what the shortest would have been. But the other options, Liz Truss as Prime Minister, that was 50 days. Penny Mordaunt as Defence Secretary, 84 days. And Jack's about to tell us the only person who's served for a shorter time than Grant Shapps as Home Secretary. Also the second shortest serving Home Secretary ever, beating Suella Braverman the first time and Suella Braverman second time. Yes, indeed. Curiously enough, it's Otley's put here, I originally put Suella Braverman in, but then gestures vaguely at Rishi Sunak. Jack has got it bang on the money. Michelle Donaldson as Education Secretary, about 34 hours. I've got it down as 2 days up here, but yes, it was the other options that could have come up. Thanks, Jack. Back to the studio now. Ape, wrong decision there. The Hive did not know that one as a majority, but if you did get it right in the Hive and went with Grant Shapps, very well played. 20 points to you. No extra points for you, Ape, but we are going to go back to your board.
All right. Let's see here. I think I want to save the stars one for the end because I think I need like a very difficult question for the end, and I feel that might be the one. So let us do the Wonders of the World one now.
Wonders of the World. Okay, 3 options. Hive. It's worth 50 points for Ape, and here is the question. Which wonder of the world started construction the earliest? The Colosseum, Taj Mahal, or Petra? Time. I'm quite curious, actually, as to people typing in the chat. I know it happens. I'm not having a go at anyone, but I'm pressing the button that stops people from typing in chat, which doesn't appear to be working anymore. So just be aware of that. Normally, I put it into emote-only mode, but have I got a hotkey over there? My Stream Deck, since OBS updated, has been doing very strange things. So. Going to see if I got it. You know what? I probably won't remember to press it anyway. So just careful with the chat. Careful with the chat because I can't disable it at the moment. Ape, 25 answers from the Hive. Thoughts?
Sure. I'm hoping this is as easy as I'm making this. Considering this as Wonder of the World, I know there's a separation. There was the ancient wonders first, and then they kind of were like, you know what? Let's put some modern ones. Like they put their list of the 7 modern ones. So I feel, given that I think the Colosseum is the only ancient one on that list, I'm going to go ahead and answer A.
You think it's the Colosseum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Considering, it's ancient Greece, I don't think Taj Mahal was in, like, ancient times. That was kind of within the past 1,000 years. I'm not sure what Petra is, but yeah, it's not an ancient one.
We will lock in the Colosseum then, and we'll see how the Hive got on. Green if you're right, Hive, of the 25 people who played. Red if not. The Hive were there, but I'm afraid you're off the money on that one. 56% giving me the correct answer, which was Petra, and 12 points if you did give me that. 32% going for the Colosseum, but the Colosseum was AD 80, and these are, for what it's worth, these are all the new 7 wonders of the world. So you had the Colosseum in 80 AD. The Taj Mahal, you're right, is a bit more recent as a mausoleum, 1643. Petra is in Jordan. It's 312 BC. Just looking at this picture here, it looks like the thing in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That thing where they go and get the Holy Grail. My dog is getting very barky. Apologies if that's being a problem.
You're good.
Other options that could have come up there: Chichen Itza, which was 600 AD, and Machu Picchu, which was 1450. Wrong decision there, Ape, but you have still got the option to mistrust the Hive or answer the next question yourself. Let's go back to the board. Now, you're talking about leaving stars till the end, which leaves you with Halloween costumes now.
Yeah, let's go for the costumes and hope that I can at least get some points on the board.
Okie dokie. Hive, 4 options to be displayed, and here is your question. According to a recent national survey, which of these is the most popular Halloween costume for Brits in 2022? Boris Johnson, 11 from Stranger Things, Squid Game contestant, or Wednesday Addams? Time. So, what do Brits think is scary? Or appropriate for Halloween, if not scary?
The most popular Halloween costume. I feel Squid Game was just like so last year. Like it was just talked about for a month, and then like everybody watched it, and they were there for that Halloween and like dressed up as Squid Game there. Like I went to a party and there were literally 3 different groups who had Squid Game one or another.
Nice.
But yeah, I feel that's already kind of lost its steam. Whereas like Stranger Things is the most recent season was kind of like within the past few months. I guess Bojo is always a cheap joke and really not too hard to put together. Wednesday Addams is an interesting choice there. Considering that I'm not super sure, I'm going to do what I did, I guess, last round and mistrust them and hope that they're going to glom on one wrong answer here.
Well, let's see. If you were going to guess, what would you say?
Considering that it's Britain and I guess the joke would be more relevant there, I would go with choice A.
You'd say Boris Johnson. Well, the correct answer is actually Wednesday Addams.
Ooh.
So, don't know if that bodes well for you. We're hoping plurality is on one of the other 3. Green if you're right, but we want to see red. That looks good for us, Ape.
That's very good.
That's good for us. Yes, good decision to mistrust the Hive. A bit of a tricky question. And I don't know if it's the furore surrounding the new Addams Family TV show, which I believe is coming to Netflix quite soon.
Right, yeah.
That's a new hot topic at the moment. 11 from Stranger Things, 20% going for that, 20% for Boris Johnson, just 16% for Wednesday Addams. So well done in the Hive if you did give me that, 22 points to you. But 44% going for Squid Game contestant. The actual order, number 1 is a witch, but that's boring, so it certainly didn't include that. Wednesday Addams at 2, Boris Johnson at 12, 11 at 17. Squid Game at 34, the one missing option Harley Quinn, which is at 31. Other spots of note, Beyonce at 3, Carol Baskin at 9, and I think possibly my favourite up here, Wordle at 37. I'm going to a Halloween party dressed as a Wordle puzzle. That would be quite fun.
It's actually one of my friends did that this year.
It's nice. It's a fairly easy costume to make, I suppose, if you've got a bit of cardboard and some paint.
Why not?
And it's a bit different. Well, I thought it was a bit different before it appeared in the top 50, but there we go. We've got some points for that phase. Let's check out how the Hive got on. We're up to 140. A few getting that second one right, a few blanks in the middle, a couple of 2-pointers, and no one on all 3.
Yeah.
So everyone has aired at least once in the Hive, but we've got Vision in the lead with 61, Jogging currently in second with 55, and Stimpson's Angle in third with 53. Those are the scores as they read at the moment. Ape, you're up to 140, and that's the end of phase 2. Last year I was slutty Sir Philip Green, and next year I'm going as slutty Michael Hillman from Corrie. That's some weird costumes, Jack. Hey, you're doing fine. Say, a little bit of a hiccup there, but we still managed to get some points out of phase 2. Obviously, our star question is going to join the Southern Capitals question later on in the final phase. How are you feeling at the moment? How do you feel? A bit. So slightly shaky round, but still plenty of time to go.
Yeah, given the downward trend of that round, I don't imagine that there'll be too many more like that. I feel like I'm kind of calibrating with the Hive here.
I think that's a very good way of describing it. You've got to sort of get into a balance with them and sort of pitch where they are. But you say you were right to mistrust them at the end there. Let's see if we get some more points as we go to phase number 3. 60 points up for grabs on this first question, starting with 2 options, and your board is: which spirit has the highest alcohol by volume percentage? Which of these geological periods happened earliest? Which of these artists has had the most solo UK #1 albums? And according to a survey of American teenagers, what Halloween candy do they most want?
All right. I guess I'll try and pick a harder one now, just so I can trying to save some maybe easier ones for later. Let us go for the geological periods, please.
Geological. Okay, Hive, over to you. 2 options. Take a look. Which of the geological periods happened earliest? Archean or Triassic? Time. How's your ancient geological periods?
Absolutely horrible. I've heard of these words again, but I don't know the order. Certainly there's some mnemonic out there that helps you remember all 20, 30, whatever them are, but I don't know. I think on this one, I'm actually going to start with a mistrust.
Let's start with mistrust.
I feel like, they'll fall the wrong way. I just didn't. I don't know. Yeah, mistrust.
Mistrust? What would you say if you were playing?
I would try the earliest. Yeah, I would try
Earliest.
Archean or Archean.
Archean. You'd have been right. Let's see if the Hive were wrong. Red if you are. We want to see red here. Oh, that's
More red.
more red. Oh no, we've gone the wrong way. It was close though. 60% getting the right answer, Archean there, and 11 points to you in the Hive if you did, but 40% and going with Triassic, which unfortunately is the answer we locked in with that mistrust there. Bad luck, Ape. Yeah, Triassic was 252 to 201 million years ago. That's dinosaurs in it. Archean was actually the oldest of the ones that could have come up, 4 billion to 2.5 billion years ago, first life. The in-between options, Cambrian, 540 to 485 million years ago, it's the first shelled creatures. Silurian, or Silurian, 444 to 419 million years ago, first land plants and fish, and the most recent Neogene, 23 to 1.8 million years ago, which is the first mammals. And a technical note here from Sotley, because he's a big Doctor Who nerd like me, this means the Silurians in Doctor Who are named wrongly as they are reptiles and would have appeared many millennia later, but that's TV for you, I suppose, isn't it? But I do love the attention to detail, and I am a sucker for a bit of Doctor Who trivia. No points on that one, 8, but we've still got 2 questions to look at in this phase. Let's go back to the board. Alcohol, UK #1 albums, or Halloween candy?
Okay, so I've used my mistrust, which I really should have saved in hindsight. Considering the ones that I think I could answer, I think I'm going to try the #1s first.
Artist, UK number. This is albums, not singles, worth stressing that.
Correct. Yes,
Right, yeah.
albums, yep.
Hive, over to you. 3 options. Here's the question. Which of these artists has had the most solo UK #1 albums? Robbie Williams, Elton John, or Michael Jackson? Time. Okay, so some names we're probably familiar with, but albums rather than singles.
Albums is trickier yet. I guess on first thought, I was leaning towards Michael Jackson just because he was such a powerhouse when he was out. But considering that Elton John's career has been longer, I could see it going that way too. Robbie Williams, I think that's the guy from Take That, and just I feel if there's any 3 things that I've learned about music trivia in the Brit universe, it's that like Take That is just everything. If the answer is Take That, like if it's a choice, it's going to be that answer, just because they've done so much and everybody loves them.
I'm going to just re-stress the question that we are looking for solo UK #1 albums, so any Take That albums wouldn't count towards Robbie Williams's total here.
Yeah, understood. I think I will trust the Hive on this one, just because I couldn't really pick one of these for sure.
You're going to trust.
Yes, please.
If you were going to punt, what would you have said?
I would probably try Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. I will also just remind you that if you trust on this question, you must answer the next question yourself.
Yes, please.
Okie dokie. The correct answer is actually Robbie Williams.
Okay.
So, hopefully, the Hive think it's Robbie Williams. Green if you're right.
Oh.
We have got an exact tie between Robbie and Elton. But as ever with this game, we give you the benefit of the doubt if there is a tie. 38% each going for Robbie and Elton John, which does give you plurality, and it gives you those points. Very well played. And 17 points if you went for Robbie in the Hive as well. Not as many going for Michael Jackson. Robbie was actually the most of the options with 14. Michael Jackson's had 10. Elton John has had 7. Other two options that didn't come up there, Taylor Swift, who at the time of writing had 8, but as of this morning has actually got 9, because she's got one in at the moment. And Ed Sheeran, who's only had 5, though he has been at number 1 in the singles chart for a very long time. Only the Beatles have outdone Robbie Williams on 15, although McCartney has 7 solos while Robbie has 5 with Take That, as you did intimate there, but he's had more as a solo artist than he did with Take That. Good results. Good results.
Yeah.
Trust the Hive. Hive knew their stuff.
Got lucky there.
Yeah, it could have come down on one of the other ways, but it's worked out for you. You've got some more points in the bank. You are going to have to answer this last question of this phase yourself, though, and it's a choice of Halloween candy or alcohol by volume.
Man, yeah, this scares me now because I wanted to save candy for later, feeling that's going to be the easier question. But I also need to get this right if I want more points. So
exactly the conundrum. Exactly.
I think I could still handle the alcohol. So go ahead and give me the alcohol question, please.
Alcohol it shall be. We'll send American teenagers Halloween candy to the final phase, and Hive will give it over to you. 4 options. Here's your question. Which spirit has the highest alcohol by volume percentage? Malibu, Bailey's, Jägermeister, Amaretto. Time. And I will give you some notes here. No, I'll give you the notes at the end. I was going to give you the notes at the start, but I'll give you them at the end. Thoughts? Are you a big drinker?
I used to be.
Right.
I think I have had all of these before.
Okay.
And I guess I never really concerned myself with the alcohol value. I was just more of a taste person. And I guess my basic logic is the worse it tastes, the stronger it must be, like alcohol-wise. And if I'm remembering my taste right, Jägermeister I could not tolerate whatsoever. So for that reason only, I will go for C.
Jägermeister. We'll lock it in, and we'll see how the Hive got on. See, no help to you on this question, but 26 of them answered it. Let's see what they said. Green if you're right, Hive. Oh, imagine Zeus getting this question wrong. Absolutely right, a good decision. And I was struggling to stifle a chuckle there because in the trivia it says from personal experience, the higher percentage, the less I like the taste. So almost verbatim what you said there.
Right, alright, so my logic is right. There's
logic
some
is pretty much
sound
spot on.
logic there, yeah.
He's also said, except wine and lager, that's all swill and lower ABV. He's also said, I've used the website, would probably have been easiest to ask Oni. And I'm sure Oni will delight us with the percentages as I give them to you. Jaeger, quite right, 35%. Amaretto at 28%. Malibu at 24%. And Bailey's at 18%. The one that might have thrown a spanner in the works was Ouzo, which didn't come up, which would have been higher than all of them at 40%.
Yeah, and I think that's black licorice flavor, and that is atrocious. So
it is an appalling, it is an abomination.
The little logic continues, yes.
Abomination before God and man, it really is. And the only thing you get higher than that is absinthe, which is up at like 120% proof, which is it's basically paint stripper at that point.
Right.
But no, I would almost agree with you. I would probably swap Malibu. I do quite like the taste of amaretto, but I normally drink it with Coke when I drink it. So I'd swap the Malibu and amaretto around. But apart from that, I'd probably agree with that. Mind you, Malibu is fairly harmless. Again, drink it with Coke. But anyway, we're getting off the track. I'm trying to do my detox thing at the moment. So this question has been an interesting reminder of days gone by. 7 points in the Hive if you did give me Jägermeister, and let's see how you got on in that phase overall. Quite a few getting 2 on this one. There's a 3 from Natter and from Clive. And a couple of 3s at the top. Fernando and Tadaru currently tying at the top, both getting 3 in that round. And Oron Mr. L, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. Fernando and Tadaru tying with 84, thanks to a very strong round there. Stimson's Angles now in second on 81. And Zeus, despite getting the alcohol question wrong, managed to get up to third place on 73 points. Ape, you are up to 270 in your jackpot at the moment. With one phase to go, that is the end of phase 3. So we're going to get at least one Halloween question at the end, the Halloween candy. That's going to join which of the stars is nearest to Earth and which of these capital cities is furthest south. We need to add one more question to that final phase, and we've got 3 more attempts to add some more points to your total. I think the next one, if memory serves, was worth 60, so 60 plus 70 plus 80 will give you a potential winnings of another 210, which means we could get you up to 460, I think, if all my numbers are in a row. But we're going to have to see how you get on with this phase here. Theoretically, the hardest questions of the lot, but we'll see what you make of them. Let's go to phase number 4. I was well off with my numbers. It's 80 points for this next one, and 2 options for the first question. Here's your board. Which of these statues is tallest? For which of these conditions would the affected area be highest on the body? Which of these men was named World's Sexiest Man by People magazine the earliest? Which of these deaths was shown on screen earliest in the Final Destination film series?
Oh man, okay. I feel I could handle a couple of these questions myself, so this is a good board for me. What's not good is the Final Destination one. I have not seen those films, so let us start with that one.
Okay, so you want to get it out of the way and hope to use the Hive in some form?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, Hive, over to you. 2 options, take a look. Which of these deaths was shown on screen earliest in the Final Destination film series? Crushed by falling cafe sign or incinerated by tanning bed? Time. So, as a film series you're not familiar with, 26 players have attempted it in the Hive. Are you more inclined to trust or mistrust?
I would probably trust them at this point. There is some memory of me, watching either some preview or something, and like some girl getting in a tanning bed and just being cooked like a turkey, but I don't know where that falls in the timeline of everything. Sure. Hopefully they'll all know that, so let's trust the Hive. Okay, we'll trust them. The correct answer is Crushed by Falling Cafe sign. So they're both in the series, but that one happened earlier on screen. Let's see how the Hive got on. Green if you're right. Looking good. Looking good. Absolutely. 73% getting that right. 8 points if you did give me Crushed by Falling Cafe sign. 27% going the wrong way. The question was phrased in that particular way because one of the options that could have come up was a prequel, which would have chronologically happened first, but would have been shown on screen last. That was Head Crushed by Falling Buddha statue. But yes, Crushed by Falling Cafe sign was in film 1, and the tanning bed was film 3. There was Decapitated by Elevator Doors in the second film, Disemboweled by Pool Drain in the fourth film, and then the Buddha in the fifth film, which was the prequel. But it's a really messed up game of Cluedo there. A really messed up game of Cluedo. Extreme Cluedo. That could be a thing. But right decision to trust the Hive. 80 extra points going on to your jackpot. You've still got the option to mistrust, and you've got the option to answer yourself. 8 points if you got that right in the Hive. Let's go back to the board. Statues or body conditions or world's sexiest man? Let us go to statues next. Statues. 3 options. Hive, over to you.
Which of these statues is tallest? The Motherland Cause in Russia, Genghis Khan on horseback in Mongolia, or Christ the Redeemer in Brazil? Time. You familiar with these, Abe?
I've not heard of the first one actually. And now that I think about it, I don't know that I know B for sure either. So this would be a stab in the dark if I tried it myself.
Do you think the Hive would know it?
That's where I'm kind of leaning, given that I have the mistrust there. I feel there's a good possibility people kind of stray away from kind of the more obvious one, Christ the Redeemer. But then again, I don't think that that's necessarily the tallest. So let's mistrust and hope for the best.
Okay, if you were going to punt, what would you say?
I would just go familiarity at this point because I really have no clue. I'd go C.
You'd be wrong. It's the Motherland Cause by Russia. So we're hoping plurality is with B or C. Green if you're right, Hive. There is a bit of red there. But not plurality, unfortunately. 42% were correct on the Motherland Cause in Russia. 16 points if he did give me that in the Hive. I joked with it subtly when I was proofing this earlier on, and we're starting a new cross-channel meme where the answer is never Christ the Redeemer. It's never Tchaikovsky, because I'm just harking back to my Secret Fortune game.
I was going to say, I proofed that, and I'm like, oh, I should really know how high that is.
That was, I think, was that talking about its... No, that was talking about its height, and it was the Angel of the North's wingspan, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
Christ the Redeemer, surprisingly petite, actually. It's 30 metres. Funnily enough, actually, when I was, just after I finished proofing it, a tweet came up from, I think it was retweeted by Quiz, of a sort of a, not a time-lapse, but one of those animations showing statues and their height relative to the real world. Christ the Redeemer slightly small. They had it at 38 metres, which would have still made it the shortest, but I think they were including the platform. Genghis Khan on horseback was the next shortest at 40 metres, and the Motherland Cause is vast. It's 85 metres tall. It's a big old beast. Other options there, the Great Buddha at 92 metres would have been the tallest in Thailand, and the statue of...
I mean, you crushed that head of that person, you know?
Say again?
Oh, he said, oh yeah, I remember him. He crushed the head of that
He
person.
Did. He crushed the falling Buddha head crushed it, yes. The Great Buddha of Thailand. He's getting into 2 questions in a row there. And the statue of Guan Yu in China in the middle at 58 metres. I'm just going to post that into the chat because doing the proofing earlier on, how did you describe it, Sotley? And when I went to have a look at it, I had to fully agree. Yes, it's got a menacing aura. It is a fairly... So give that a Google. The statue of Guan Yu in China. It is quite a sight to behold. And at 58 metres tall isn't short either. Brand new Halo, welcome to the stream. We've gone the wrong way on that one, 8, but you've got one more chance to earn 90 points into your jackpot. You must answer this next question yourself, and you've got a choice of body conditions or world's sexiest man.
I feel, World's Sexiest Man is kind of a trivia staple over here in the States, so hopefully I've absorbed enough of the knowledge to make a sensible answer myself, because it's kind of what I'm going to have to do, no choice. So let's do the People Magazine one. Okay,
we're going to send the body question into the final phase in a few minutes' time, but let's take a look for now at World's Sexiest Man. 4 options, Hive, and here they are. Which of these men was named World's Sexiest Man by People Magazine the earliest? David Beckham, Hugh Jackman, Brad Pitt, or Harrison Ford? Time. I've heard of all those people. 28 players attempting in the Hive. Any strong inclinations here, Ape?
I was kind of hoping you'd be like Mel Gibson, and it's like I thought he was the first one, and that would be easy. But I feel, like Harrison Ford has got to be the oldest one up here, and his career was kind of like the biggest back in like the 80s when they were putting those out. David Beckham's feels too recent. Brad Pitt, that would be 90s. Now that I'm thinking about it, Harrison Ford did like Air Force One, I want to say. I think that was the 90s.
Get off my plane! I think that's a line from Air Force One. I might be wrong.
More than likely. I mean, they were on a plane, right?
They were. Mark, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it is up to you on this one. Unfortunately, the Hive cannot help you here.
Gosh. I almost feel like, he would have been and just kind of given it later than he should have, and it might be one of those others. But just so that I can say that I didn't overthink the question, let's just go ahead, lock in Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Let's lock it in first of all, and we'll see how the Hive got on. And green if you're right. There's a lot of red in the Hive. Oh, Ape, you were saying you're in danger of overthinking the question. If you'd overthought it a little bit more, it felt like you were just on the precipice of getting there. Yeah, Harrison Ford, of the options that could have come up, was the second furthest back, because he did have a bit of a resurgence in the mid to late 90s. The furthest back was Brad Pitt in 1995, Harrison Ford in 1998, Hugh Jackman in 2008, David Beckham in 2015, and the one that was missed off, Paul Rudd in 2021. He's also added here, I hold no opinion either way, I'll let the community decide. However, if Paul Rudd wishes to explain his immortality, I'm all ears. So, yes, he doesn't seem to age, Paul Rudd, which is nice, I suppose. 25% getting the correct answer, Brad Pitt. 22 points if you did give me that. 7% going for Beckham, 68%. Most people thinking with you there, Ape, on Harrison Ford, but unfortunately not the right answer. So we don't add any more points to your jackpot, but we're going to have a little look at the Hive and see where your running total is so far. 32 players have entered the game in some capacity. A couple of 2-pointers there. Jur's managing to pick up all 3 on that one, as did Natter, who manages to move up to 3rd place. Dev into 2nd, just 2 points ahead with 95 and 2 correct answers there, including the big one on question 3. Fluid Fernando is on top, the first player to break 3 figures with 100 points, only getting 1 in that phase. But it's enough to keep the lead. But it is very, very tight at the top. Just 11 points separating 1st and 6th here. Much to play for, as there are still 5 questions to face in the final for our Hive Mind. Ape, your potential maximum jackpot today is 350 plus whatever we underwrite it by, and that is the end of phase 4. So, how would you feel the day has gone?
I kind of wish I had done better in the actual questions round, but I feel that I've saved a good diverse mix of difficulty questions for this final phase.
I think that's fair. There's a good, and often pitching the difficulty of these questions is the hardest thing, because obviously you don't have to answer them, but you've basically got to predict how difficult they are for our Hive Mind. So leaving a good spread can often make this task a little easier. Whether the questions are easy or hard is slightly academic for you, but not for the Hive. 350 plus any underwrite value. We'll find out what that is in a minute, and I'll tell you what your potential could be on our leaderboard. But for now, it is time to jump into the final phase. So we have taken your 350 points and we have split it up into 4 chunks there at 10%, 15%, 25% and 50% chunks rounded up, starting from the furthest back if there is an exception, an overlap if you will. However, you've been a smashing contestant and you've done a great job. We don't like anyone to go away empty-handed, so no matter what else happens, we will underwrite your score by 10 pennies for every question you've given, which means tonight you will be leaving with at least 70 pennies. That's your baseline. Hey. So that's not too bad. We'd love to add to that. And if you can ace this finale here, you will leave with 420 pennies, which would give you tied 5th on the leaderboard with Colo, Oni and Topper. Oni most recently winning 420 as the last game at QNL a couple of weeks ago. It's a big ask. You've got to get through all 4 of these, but we have seen it done. And we wish you all the very best for this 8 Minky. Of course, you don't have to answer any questions, but the first question is going to be a brand new question that no one has seen yet. Subsequent questions will be the questions rejected from the earlier phases, but they will be in a random order. So this first question, and all of the questions in the final phase, will have 5 options, and this first one is going to set the benchmark. Hive, fingers on buzzers, there are 5 options. Here's the benchmark question. Which of these TV shows was David J. Bodycomb credited on the earliest? The Crystal Maze, 15-1, Treasure Hunt, The Krypton Factor, or The Mole? Time. So, you familiar with David's body of work? Oh,
right, yeah.
See what I did there? I said David's body of work because his name's Bodycomb, and this is the body of his... Shut up, Ben. Hey, sorry. As you were.
Yours was better than my joke, so I'll just keep it at that. I guess some of these shows predate, I want to say, The Crystal Maze, but I think that's where he got his start, like doing some of the puzzle work. So I would go with that, just on that basic knowledge that I have.
Let's have a look and see what the right answer is. It is indeed The Crystal Maze. I don't know if that bodes well for how you think the Hive are going to get on. If you were going to put a percentage on this, just as a stab in the dark, what would you have said?
Gosh, a lot of those are like 80s type shows, so I think it could... The timeline could be blurred a little bit. I would go somewhere in the neighborhood of like 40%.
Let's have a look. 29 players attempted it, and hello TJ, welcome to the stream. How many players got that one right? Little more than that, 51.7%, just over half, which could be a blessing. It could be a bit of a curse as benchmarks go. Sometimes we'll like to see very low or very high benchmarks because it makes the first placement easier. But here we're right in the middle and we are split to a basic higher or lower than half. 15 points to you if you did give me the Crystal Maze in the Hive. Very well played. So now we're going to see some questions that we saw earlier on, but we didn't see the options. Incidentally, Crystal Maze 93, The Mole 2001, Treasure Hunt 2002, Krypton Factor 2009, and 15-1 2017. And it's something we'd like to pass on as thanks to David for all his hard work throughout the years. Jay. Reading it verbatim right there. So, Ape, this is where the thinking starts. You weren't a million miles off with that guess there. Let's see if you can continue with that trend as we go on to the next question. Hive, over to you. From phase 1, which of these capital cities is located furthest south? 5 options, and they are: Montevideo, Uruguay; Jakarta, Indonesia; Nicosia, Cyprus; Windhoek, Namibia; or Suva, Fiji. Great flurry of answers coming in the last 5 seconds there. Now, Ape, are you well travelled? Are you familiar with all of these?
Oh, some of these are islands, and I never know where any of those are. Like, not even like the oceans for most of those, let alone like north and south. If I was going to narrow it down, I would probably go between Fiji and Indonesia, but I feel Uruguay is going to be one of those tricky ones that it's more south than you think it is.
Let's take a look at the correct answer and see if it influences your decision at all. Uruguay. That was the one you were a bit unsure about. How does that affect your decision as to how you think the Hive might have played that?
I feel that there are too many islands out there, and a lot of them kind of in the Pacific, kind of all in the same area, so I'm hoping people would do what I did and just bomb wrong answers out on the islands and not even think about Uruguay. So let's go lower.
We think fewer than
A.
Just over half. A?
Yeah, A, please.
Alright, let's see how many players got that one right. Whew. Close, but right. 48.3%. In fact, as answers go, that's about the best we could have hoped for, because that, I mean, unless there is that 1 in 6 billion chance that the next one comes in between that gap. That is good to get those gaps narrowed because it keeps your options nice and broad, apart from, say, the rare fringe cases. 48.3% getting that one right. 16 points to you if you did get that in the Hive. According to their lines of latitude, Montevideo is -35, Windhoek -23, Suva -18, Jakarta -6, and Nicosia +35. So those were the options there. And the breakdown, 48% giving me Montevideo, 20% going for Namibia, and 24% going for Fiji. For what it's worth, I probably would have gone for Fiji, actually. I think it's quite high up in Australasia, though, relative to sort of Australia and New Zealand. But academic, you're doing well, Abe. You're up to 106. The next decision is going to be worth an extra 52 pennies if you can make the right one. Let's see what the question brings. Hive, over to you. Into the phase 2 question. Which of these stars is nearest to Earth? Earendel, Polaris, Sirius, Proxima Centauri, Betelgeuse. Whenever I read Proxima Centauri, in fact, it's been an answer in the Hive before, I always get it mixed up. I said, in the moment, do I say Proxima Centauri or do I say Proxima Centauri? And I'm pretty sure it's Centauri, which is why I said Proxima Centauri and sort of just forgot how to word at the end of that. Anyway, Earendel, Polaris, Sirius, Proxima Centauri, or Betelgeuse are your options. 27 players have answered it. Do you know?
This is one of those things I should know. I feel like I lucked out, though, in there's a lot of familiar ones there. So I feel there's a case where a lot of people are like, oh, I know these, but I don't remember which order they go. But I want to say Proxima Centauri is nearest. I feel Sirius and Polaris are close, but I can't remember the order.
Okay, just one moment. Is that for me? Oh, how kind. Is that Red Bush with 1 sugar? You're amazing. Thank you. Oh, and I've got some... Oh, that's very kind. Thank you, darling. My wife has just bought me a cup of tea because she knows about my newfound sobriety thing. So I've got a cup of caffeine-free Red Bush tea here. So she's been very supportive of this new drive of mine. So, thank you to Mrs. Flush, and apologies for that minor interruption there. So you would have thought Proxima Centauri, Abe?
That would be my terribly blind guess that I should know the answer to.
It's a good guess. It is the right answer. Now, does that reaffirm anything, or does that make you want to second guess stuff? You thought it was that, but you weren't sure. It is the right answer. How do you think the Hive will have played here?
This is tricky too, because this is a trivia-based community, and that feels like one of those chestnuts in a way. But I feel that it's probably going to be lower than that 48%. I think the other couple answers are a little bit too tempting to go for. I'll go for A again.
So we're going to go A.
A, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, I heard a funny noise on the other side of my headphones, and it's just started raining again, is what it was. So it's something burning, but no, it's just the rain on my office window. A, we're going less than 48%. Let's lock that in and see how many of you said Proxima Centauri. No. They knew it. They knew it, as did you. 66.7%. It was C. It was higher, more than half. 10 points if you did give me the right answer there in the Hive. Unfortunately, we are denied those 52 pennies, but there's still plenty more to be won over the next 2 questions. That extra 66%, though, there does add an extra element of difficulty here, as we've now got under 48, between 48 and 51, between 51 and 66, or more than 66. Phase 3 and Phase 4 questions still to come. Let's see what's coming up next. It's worth 87 pennies. Hive, over to you. It's the Phase 4 question. For which of these conditions would the affected area be highest on the body? Periorbital hematoma, glomerulonephritis, pharyngitis, tinea pedis, torn meniscus. I knew I was going to trip over B. I practiced saying periorbital hematoma earlier on, and then I thought, yes, I got this. I said periorbital hematoma, and then glomerulonephritis slightly scared me. 28 players have attempted that in the Hive. 87 pennies for grabs. Ape, are you familiar with any of these ailments?
Severally sound familiar, yeah. I was drawn to the second one that we can't pronounce at first because I thought of glaucoma right away, but that's not spelled that way, so... oh, yikes. That's a doozy. Trying to think of where the periorbital is associated with. Hematoma is something with like a blood clot or something, maybe. I guess I might lean that might be the brain, but I'm not super sure at all.
Well, let me give you the correct answer and see if that...
Oh, sure.
Because I can do that. Now, I can't give you any more details, but I can give you the answer and see if that influences the decision. So the correct answer was periorbital hematoma.
Okay. I feel that's a lot of stuff to understand right away, and if you don't really know where any of that is, you're kind of lost. I'm hoping this will be lower than that 48%, so let's go for A.
We're going A again.
The A strats are wild tonight. Yeah.
Let's lock in A and see how many of you said periorbital hematoma.
What in the world? They're getting smarter!
A lot of people knowing that periorbital hematoma is a black eye. Pharyngitis is a sore throat. Glomerulonephritis is kidney failure. A torn meniscus is a torn knee. And tinea pedis is athlete's foot. It sort of goes on to say, out of these, I guess I'd rather have a sore throat. Got a black eye once from a water bottle falling on my head. What is it with things falling on heads tonight? Also got to wear an eye patch. I was 5 years old, and it was the most popular I've ever been with the ladies. Might be something in that. Says it softly. Well done if you are among the 68% who got that one right. 10 points going to you. Just to realise I didn't give you the light years on the stars. Just going back a question, I know I need to get out of the habit of doing this, but Proxima Centauri 4.2 light years, then Sirius 8.7, Polaris 323 light years, Betelgeuse 642 light years, and Erendiel 62 billion light years. Whilst Erendiel is the farthest star we know of, Sirius is the dog star, Polaris is the North Star, Betelgeuse is the first we photographed, and Proxima is almost the nearest. The nearest, fact fans, is the Sun. It's not a planet, contrary to what 18% of people said in a survey. What even is the point of it all? It's totally despairing about that particular piece of information there. Yeah, not the right answer, Ape. But we can still get this back. Not a catwalk into the stream. You've got 106, so we know we're not leaving empty-handed, but there's 175 there with your name on it, if you can make the right decision here. One saving grace from that question is that, like the first and second, they're very, very close together. So it's unlikely to be a big swing unless we have a significantly different number of players answering this last question. Can you remember what it was on?
I think it's the candy one.
It certainly
and
was.
I will not say what I'm thinking just yet, but I hope this is a good one.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Hive, over to you. There's going to be 5 options. The last question of the game is, according to a survey of American teenagers, what Halloween candy do they want the most? Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Toffee Apple, Cookies, Hershey's Bar, or Gummy Bears? And we're nearly ticking over onto the second column, but not quite. Still, that is 31 answers. That's the most answers we've had all game. 175 pennies riding on this. Now, this is more your domain than mine as an American. What do you? I mean, do you like any of those? Or what did you like as a teenager?
I would eat anything. All those are great choices, but Reese's Peanut Butter Cups is the king of all candies ever. So I cannot see any teenager trying to pick any of those other options, all those others are like old people stuff. I don't know. I would definitely say it's got to be peanut butter cups.
There it is. Now, how many of our Hive thought that?
Yeah, I mean,
It's a question.
I always try and make an effort to like go out to the store to get like the clearance candy, and the peanut butter cups are never there. So hopefully others have had that same strife. I'm gonna go big here. I'm gonna go for E.
You think more than 68% got this right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, for 175 pennies, Ape. How many of you said Reese's peanut butter cups? More than 68%? It was high, but it wasn't quite that high. Not masses in it. 3.5% were short. 3.5% short of what we needed for it to be E, which was probably just 1 or 2 people more, and it would have slipped up to the E, but unfortunately C was the answer. 12 points if you did
studying stars like nerds. Eat more candy. Eat more candy.
12 points if you got that in the Hive. Just give you the full rundown on the survey. Yeah, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, 75.9% elected that they wanted that. Hershey's Bar, 69.5%. Gummy Bears, 66.9%. Cookies, 41.7%. And Toffee Apples at 40.6%. The least popular in that survey was licorice at 16%. Oh, excuse me. Oh, bloody hell. Christ. Excuse me. Just a minute. Something went down the wrong way. It's the thought of saying licorice has set me off, it has. That's what licorice does to me. And actually, the trivia goes on to say, which begs the question, what is wrong with that 16% of teens? Oh, sorry about that, eh? Coughing and spluttering here. I think something went down the wrong way. Hershey's chocolate also tastes like burnt plastic, just saying. I have had a Hershey's bar, and I have to agree. Ah, well, there we go. 64.5% getting that 12 points. Unfortunately, Ape, it does mean we are denied the 175 pennies, but you do leave with 106 pennies, which will pop you in 13th on the leaderboard. Tricky game, but you've been a smashing contestant. Have you had a good time?
It was a fantastic time. I might not have hit 420 pennies, but it's just about 30 seconds before 420 here, so I still got it in the end.
Absolutely. Well, 106 is nothing to be sneezed at all the same. You'll go on the leaderboard. We'll add that onto your penny total as well. And it's been a pleasure having you here, Ape. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you another time, I hope.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, and good luck on your sobriety journey.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.
So, 8 Minky leads us with 106 pennies. Apodo Nuevo, welcome to the stream as well. Just in time to catch some stuff in a few minutes. Apologies for me coughing and spluttering over the word licorice there. I had a moment. And apparently the moment is still there. Let's check out the final scores in the Hive Mind game. Gold, silver and bronze medals are available. And how did you perform on those final questions? Aura Mistral getting 4 of them, Apodo getting 4, Kolo getting 4, Ianyo getting 4, Puzzle Dan getting 4, ABMe getting 4, Cyclespace getting 4, Lupine getting 4, Vision getting 4, Clive getting all 5, but we have got another 4-pointer, and it is Dev who takes the top and the gold medal with 142 points. Very well played, Dev. Gold medal to you. The silver medal will go to Fluid Fernando on 136, and the bronze will go to Tadaru on 127. Just a point ahead of Clive and Zeus there. All of those points will, of course, be converted into pennies, and those medals will be applied to Dev, Fernando, and to Daru. Thank you all very much, everybody, for playing. I hope you've enjoyed that. Massive thank you to It Sotley for a really nice question pack there. I think very fair. Lots of interesting stuff coming up, furnished with lots of lovely trivia as well, which is why I wanted to go back and do the star trivia, because Sotley had gone to the effort of doing it. So lovely, lovely pack. Yes, thank you for your efforts on that. It's Sotley. And thank you for the Halloween theme running through it as well. Really, really fun time. I mean, it's 106 pennies as well to Ape, so congratulations there. Congratulations to our top 3 and to everyone for playing at home. I hope you've enjoyed that. But do stick around, because after the break, stuff. The return of the fabled stuff. I'll do the thanks beforehand. There are some people I need to thank in advance, without whom it wouldn't have been possible. something a bit different. I hope you enjoy it. We'll go for a very quick break. I'm just going to go stretch my legs, pop to the loo, and I'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes' time with the pilot episode of Stuff. Thank you again to Itzartly. Congratulations to Ape. You've been playing the Hive. I'll see you in a minute. World premiere of Stuff coming up on Game Night after this short break. If you're subbed, you won't see ads. If you're not, then you might see some ads, but we won't start without you. Do go get yourselves a drink, go stretch your legs, we'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes. World premiere of Stuff, you'd be mad to miss it. Don't touch that dial, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the second part of this evening's game night, where it is time for stuff. Just before we get underway with this, I would like to extend the usual pre-pilot messages that I give out, and a few words of thanks as well. Lewis Toot, Claire Vision, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. First of all, very many thanks to Dev for his work on Hackbox. This is a sort of game that wouldn't have been possible to do just with the Twitch chat. Hackbox has a number of features, but one of them that is being used in this game in particular, Hackbox makes easy as pie to operate. So massive thanks to Dev for his work on that and for making it so freely available. By extension, huge thanks to Ash for his work on the Unity integration of Hackbox that allows Luddites like me to basically pick up and play, because I can figure my way around a Unity engine, but other things require a little bit more work. So Ash has taken a lot of the legwork out of making it integral with Unity, which is sort of my playground a little bit. So huge thanks to Ash as well for his creation of that and for his support in getting it up and running. I'd like to thank Score as well, who's been a bit of a sounding board. Score Count has been sort of acting as creative consultant on this. He's been very helpful with some ideas, and it is the sort of idea I'm trying to get with this game is more in his wheelhouse than mine, certainly. So he's been very useful. Mostly listening, mostly being a soundboard, to be fair. Yeah, it's very grateful for being that sounding board and sending some ideas back. There are a couple of loose threads in this, just on a format point of view, which I'm going to mention at the end. It's mainly to do with balancing. I don't think there's anything particularly game-breaking at the moment. Arguably one particular thing, which we'll get to later on. Yeah, but just a couple of things that might need finessing and balancing. But apart from that, I'm fairly happy with how it's come up. One of the disadvantages at the moment, as I mentioned in the Discord earlier on, is that I can't get Hackbox and TwitchLib to work in the same project. And I would have used both of them to draw in avatars, and because I use your Twitch names to iterate pennies, and Hackbox has a character limit, and also it would mean you could join as somebody else to give them pennies. It just becomes a great big mess. I haven't yet. This game doesn't yet have penny integration, but it does have an internal leaderboard, yeah. That's I have got a Topper actually sent me a project which has got Hackbox and TwitchLib in, and I couldn't even open it at my end. It just threw up a load of errors. So there is a solution. I know it's possible because Topper's done it, and I'm pretty sure Ash has done it as well. And if I can't find, I need to have a chat with Ash about TwitchLib versions and stuff, because I have to use Newtonsoft.json outside of Hackbox. But if I've got a potential fix for it, which is slightly jankier but might get around it, which means we could. I mean, if the game isn't popular, if you don't seem to like it, then it's academic that it was it's a week well spent. But if you do and you want to come back, then I'll need to find a more permanent fix. So about the game briefly, just before I launch it, it is a largely hot seat focused affair, but voice chat is not required. You need Hackbox whether you are playing in the lobby game or in the hot seat game. It's virtually the same game with just slightly different stakes if you're in the hot seat. It is a perma elimination, but once you're eliminated from the hot seat, you can continue in the lobby game as you were, just answering the questions. At its core, it's basically a microcosm of Danger Zone, but it has got a very, very interesting quirk attached to it, which sets it aside from that. If you go to hackbox.ca, not a cat, and then all the instructions will be on the screen. That will also be on the screen in a minute, Samster. Just trying to get the pre-spiel out of the way. So, yes, it's got a permanent elimination, but you can carry on in the lobby. You can join midway through if you need. It's points-based, and it should be fun. The questions have been written by me. I've designed it as an actual question pack rather than a pilot pack, as I'd call it, which is normally trivia in my wheelhouse without much thought to the wider community. So it should appeal to everybody. If you don't want to be in the hot seat, there are two options. Either wait until my 6 hot seat players have been selected, or when the thing pops up on your screen to say you've been selected, you can just ignore it. It will basically re-roll every 10 seconds. I'll show you what that means in a minute. And final disclaimer is, it is a pilot game. I have run it through twice with the question pack, and it looks like it's all working fine. Approximate runtime, I think, probably going to be about 40 minutes, Dev. 40 to 45 minutes, depending how much explanation I have to do. It's not as long as the Hive, not by a long way. The questions are fast-paced. It's the bit in between that maybe takes slightly longer, but it should all be relatively straightforward. I have run it through twice. It did all seem to work, but as ever, with my computer, it's always a given, but as ever, things might break, things might go wrong. There may be problems with the balance. You may not like some of the rules or the formats. Any ideas and feedback into the suggestions channel of the Discord, please. I will read them all and respond in kind. Can't guarantee that I will act on everyone's advice because they may be conflicting pieces of advice, but I do read them all and digest them to make a better experience for you. That's all the disclaimers done at the beginning. I was curious to see the title of this game crop up earlier on as one of the answers to the Hive. There's a pre-clue for you. Have fun, and I'll see you after the titles. Welcome to the Mole, which I did look up, and this is not a remake of that format that what David's been on. But yes, it's Ben hates the letter A. That's what's going on there. This is the Mole. V is de Pyramid. I'm going to get a lawsuit. No, the title. When I had the idea, the title was immediate. Sort of came with it. It could work in any number of different ways, but it's just such a perfect title for the format, which... oh, okay. I'll end the stream there. Thank you all very much, everyone, for saying I violated the copyrights. I'm going to have to go. Take care, and good night. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. Right. If you want to play... as mentioned, you need to be on Hackbox. All the questions and options will beam down to your devices. But you'll need to go to hackbox.ca and join with that room code, NBWN. And any name you like. You unknown. Come give it a go. My little coloured question boxes. Yeah, the font's not the best for the room code. The font, in my defense, the font is different for the questions. Stick it in Discord, stick it in the suggestions channel, I'll tweak it later. I'll tweak it now, for now. Yeah, it was sort of design choice based on the style of the game, but I appreciate it's difficult to read. The questions do have a different font, which I'll give you a preview of now. Join instructs, that's what we want. Let's go for... that's slightly better, isn't it? Let's go with that for now. Or Roboto. Can't argue over that. Yeah, around about 45 minutes long. Yeah, about 45 minutes, Clive. So if you don't want to play in the hot seat, but you do want to play in the lobby... Oh, is that yours, Topper? Sorry. Then just don't be in the hot seat. Oh, hello, Innes. Welcome to the stream. If you're going to join the game, get a... Hit yourself a lozenge on the screen. The Mole. I suppose they're good, aren't they? Believe it or not, there weren't many tracks on this particular album, so it wasn't massive. I think it was about £7. I think I might have bought one, maybe two of them. and then careful editing. You'll enjoy watching the beginning then. Good stuff, Clive. Right, I'm going to give you till maybe the end of this riff. I think it's about 3 minutes long. You may have been able to work out where I'm going with all the hints that I've been dropping over the last couple of days and so forth, but also them all. I don't think you can join with the same username. I don't think it'll let you if you try and put the same name in, incidentally, and then you'd have to play in incognito mode. Don't do that, incidentally. Right, I'm going to lock the lobby. When it does, it's going to pick 6 of you, and it's going to pick you one at a time. The indication that you have been picked to be in the hot seat is that you will be given a choice of options of characters to pick on your phone. They'll start with 6 and then go down to 5 as they're picked. If you don't press a response within 10 seconds, it will re-roll it and pick somebody else. So if you don't want to be in the hot seat, just ignore that. We'll let those 10 seconds go by. But if you're too slow, then it also won't let you join. So just bear that in mind. I am anti-Pope Colo. Right, I am going to lock the lobby and we'll pick our players. So, when the music starts, one of you has been selected to play. Pick a character to join the game, and pick them quick. Dev is in, another one has been selected. Pick a character to join the game. There's Shapes, another one has been picked to join the game. Pick a character to join the game. And they're letting their time expire, so someone else has been picked. Pick a character to join the game. Nope, somebody else. Pick a character to join the game. I should probably put a decline button if people definitely don't want to join. Nope, somebody else. Pick a character to join the game. Here's Natter coming to join us. Someone else has been picked. Pick a character to join the game. Your time has now expired. Somebody else. Pick a character to join the game. Here's Claire come to join us. And there's TJ. One more. Pick a character to join the game. There's only one left at this point. Also, the Mole has come to join. Welcome to the Mole. So, here are our 6 characters. You can join midway through with the instructions at the bottom of the screen. Dev, Shapes, Natter, Claire, TJ, and mystery character, also the Mole. I genuinely don't know who that is. Saw a couple of names that go by. I'm not going to name and shame, but not name and shame. I'm not going to name the people because if they didn't want to select for whatever reason, that's fine. I do get a log of who's been picked, but I generally sort of made a rule not to say who it is, just in case people want to be anonymous and don't want to have to be pressured into coming to play. So I respect your decisions, and let me explain the rules. Here's how to play. Also, the Mole is jogging, or Jack. Here we go. Gameplay takes place across 4 rounds. Each round has 5 multiple choice questions. At the end of each round, one player will be permanently eliminated from the game. In the first 2 rounds, scores are shown after each question. In the second 2 rounds, scores are only shown at the end. Okay, I'll come back to that point. Okay, I get it. I get with the also the Mole joke. There we go. Let's wrap that up. I don't know who it is, and they're going to remain anonymous. So if they get on the leaderboard, that's going to be an anonymous top of the leaderboard. At the start of each round, one player is secretly assigned as the Mole. This player will be given different answering options from the other players, specifically correct or incorrect, so they can just choose whether they get it right or wrong, thus making their game significantly easier. 17 different fonts going. There's 2. Well, there's 3 if you include the lobby code from before, but there's 2 fonts. There's just different colours. So yes, the Mole will only have 2. They'll still see the options, but they won't be able to select them. They'll only be able to pick right or wrong, depending how they want to play. At the end of each round, all players secretly vote on who they think the Mole is. If a clear majority, and I use that word advisedly, clear majority means you must have more than half. So 6 players, you need to have 4 people identify the Mole correctly. Then the Mole is eliminated. Otherwise, the lowest scoring player is eliminated. The Mole is reselected each round regardless of the outcome. Mainly so I can say re-roll the Mole. So hopefully that's clear. If the Mole is selected by a clear majority, they are eliminated. Otherwise, the lowest scoring player is eliminated. Here's the catch. In the event of a tie for the lowest scoring players, the following elimination priority applies. The mole, if the mole is one of the lowest scorers, the mole is going to be eliminated. So if you all have the same score at the end, the mole will be eliminated. Followed by the lowest overall bank in the first round, that will all be 0, followed by the slowest overall answerer. So it is a time game at the end of it when you get there. 2 players who remain at the end of round 4 will progress to the final. Simple as that. If you're playing along in the lobby game, you get 10 points for each correct answer, and you get an additional 10 points if you can identify the mole. So the tactics here are, the mole wants to get as many points as possible and not be low so as to be eliminated, but they also don't want to draw too much attention to themselves. Questions gradually get harder over the course of the round, sort of, and each question in each round has a broadly similar topic. So question 1 is broadly music and art. Question 2 is broadly... I couldn't remember this earlier on either. Is broadly TV and film. Question 3 is broadly politics and religion. Question 4 is broadly science and nature. And question 5 is broadly geography and history. Use that information if you think you can use it. Keep track of who's getting what right, and who do you think has got the advantage of being the mole. Okay? Hopefully that's all clear. Long and short of it is answer questions, and if you're the mole, then don't let on, but also don't be last. That's the rules. There are 2 fonts. 3 if you include the timer. The timer is a different font. So, the very first thing that we need to do... yes, you get to play along, Proogs. It's a standard quiz. If you're in the lobby, you'll get the option, so keep your phones handy. First thing we need to do at the start of the round is select our first mole. The mole has been selected, and only the mole knows who they are. The other players will have had a message saying you are not the mole, and the mole will have had a message saying you are the mole. So the mole will be shown the options but can only pick correct or incorrect, and the other players will have to answer to the best of their ability. If you can ID the mole at the end of the round, the mole is eliminated with a clear majority. The mole is eliminated. Otherwise, the lowest scoring player is eliminated. Good luck. Let's play. 5 questions in the categories broadly outlined. If you're playing along in the lobby, 10 points per question. Here's question number 1. Born in 1982, which Chinese pianist played at the opening ceremony of the 2008 Summer Olympic Games and cites an episode of Tom and Jerry as one of his earliest inspirations? Is it Lang Lang? Is it Yin Yang? Is it Bang Bang? Or is it Gangnam? 10 seconds. Oh, a beautiful chord there. Time. And everyone's getting that one right. 6 players correct there. The answer was Lang Lang. Incidentally, I experimented with 15 seconds. It felt a little bit long. If it feels short, bear in mind you do get to read the whole question first, then we can adjust that. I'll just finish my tea. All 6 getting that right. It's a good start. Let's go on to question number 2. Which of these characters holds the highest rank on the Federation starship Voyager? Is it Harry Kim, B'Elanna Torres, Chakotay, or Catherine Janeway? DJ taking a little longer to answer that. And the answer is Catherine Janeway. 4 players correct on that one, with Dev and Natta getting it wrong. Everyone else was correct. Keep track of what is happening as we go on to question number 3. Who was the first British Asian person to hold the office of UK Prime Minister? Rishi Sunak, Kwasi Kwarteng, Priti Patel, Suella Braverman. It was Rishi Sunak, the incumbent Prime Minister, and 5 players were correct there. TJ getting that one wrong, everybody else was correct. Over the halfway stage, also the mole, Claire and Shapesar are on 3, Dev and Nat are on 2, and TJ is also on 2. 2 questions to go. Take a look at the next one. The rhesus macaque is a species of which animal? Is it a whale, a bear, a monkey, or a lemur? There's all our hot seat players locked in. And 5 players were correct on that one. TJ getting that one wrong, everybody else correct. The answer is a monkey. Yeah, the rhesus macaque is a monkey. One more question in this round. Fingers on your buzzers. Here's question 5. Found in the Julian Alps, Lake Bled is a popular tourist attraction in which European country? Is it Italy, Austria, Croatia, or Slovenia? Slovenia was the answer. 4 of you getting that one right. Natter and also the mole getting it wrong. So one thing to note that it might be interesting in the development of this game, when players answer might also give you a little bit of a hint. But for now, that Slovenia is the correct answer, and that is the end of round 1. So, at the end of that, Dev has got 40, Shapes has got 50, Natter's on 30, Claire's on 50, TJ's on 30, and also the mole is on 40. So, if you can root out the mole at this point, then the mole will be eliminated. If 4 out of 6 of you vote for the correct person, the mole will be eliminated. Otherwise, it's Natter and TJ who have to worry as the lowest scorers in this round. If you cannot find the mole, it will be Natter or TJ who will be going home. You've got 15 seconds to vote. It'll just be a tap in the option. You can't vote for yourself. In the lobby game, 10 extra points if you can identify the mole out of these 6 players. And yeah, that's all there is to it. It will also show how many they got out of 5 on the buttons. The hot seat players, no, they don't get 10 extra points. They probably should. It was something I ummed and ahed about, Dragon, but because it's counting towards the central game, I didn't give them extra points. But it is something I am considering and have considered, and we'll come back to. If you could note it down, and we'll go from there. Right, good luck to you all. Think carefully. Who knows more than they're letting on? 15 seconds. Who's the mole? And there's your time up. Hopefully your votes have all been counted. Looks like they have at this end. Let's reveal who everybody voted for. So, Dev has voted for Also the Mole, Shapes has voted for Dev, Nat has voted for TJ, Claire's voted for Dev, TJ's voted for Dev, and Also the Mole has voted for TJ. That is 3 votes for Dev, 2 for TJ, and 1 for Also the Mole. So, the next thing we need to do is reveal the mole. Do we have a... There's no clear majority there, because the most we've got is 3 for Dev. So the mole, it looks like they have evaded detection this time round, whoever it ends up being, because there's no clear majority, which means it's going to be Natter or TJ, we think, who's going to be eliminated. I might be wrong, but first of all, before we go any further, let's reveal the mole. Dev was the mole over there. Dev, 3 of you rooted him out, but there weren't enough to present a majority. So, Dev, you have survived. Cheeky. Don't know if you did know those 4 that you got right, if you were playing an honest game or not, or if you took an extra free 1 or 2. Jack, to your point, that was very much a consideration when I first built it, and it is still something that I am happy to return to. Having players in voice chat and discussing along the way could be lots of fun. Didn't know number 5 and you threw number 2. Interesting play. Well, you have survived, Dev. I can say here the stats have revealed who it is. It is between TJ and Natter, and it comes down to time. And unfortunately, at this point, we have to say goodbye to TJ. Thank you for playing. So, those points have been added to the bank, 10 for everyone that you got right. Shapes and Claire taking an early lead with 50. Also, The Mole and Dev on 40 and Natter on 30. That is the second metric tiebreaker after whether or not you're the mole. But we've got another round to go. We're down to 5 players, so let's re-roll the mole. The mole has been selected, and once again in this round you will see the scores and how your opponents are doing along the way. So if you are the mole, you may be able to adjust your strategy. That you don't get in round 3, and is something I've got a question mark over. Let's begin round 2. Dev, Shapes, Natter, Claire, and also the mole. Here's your first question. The singer Simon Le Bon is best known for his work with which band? Culture Club, Bananarama, Duran Duran, or Aha? They've taken a bit of time to get to the answer there, and not the right one as it happens. Duran Duran was the answer, everyone else getting it right. Dev not getting the right answer on that one, everyone else going in front. Still 4 questions to go. Let's go on to the next. The first in the series to air in 1958, which of these is a real Carry On film? Carry On Lieutenant, Carry On Sergeant, Carry On Captain, or Carry On Private? It's Carry On Sergeant. Might have been fooled into thinking it was Carry On Private. I just had an idea for something that could make it on yeah, I'll tell you that later on. Carry On Sergeant was the answer. Shapes and also the mole getting that one right. Everyone else getting it wrong. 3 questions to go. Here's the next. Celebrated the world over just last week, Diwali, often called the Festival of Lights, is one of the most important festivals in which religion? Is it Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism, or Islam? Answering round the semicircle there. And 4 players getting that right. Natter not getting that one right. The answer was Hinduism. Everybody else getting the correct answer. Just past the midpoint, Shapes and also the mole have got 3. Claire has got 2. Natter and Dev have got 1. Question 4. Have a look at this. With an atomic number of 43, which member of the D block on the periodic table is the lightest element whose isotopes are all radioactive? Is it manganese, niobium, cadmium, or technetium? Possibly a slightly harder question in the mix there. Just 2 players getting that one right. Also the mole and Claire getting that one. Natter, Shapes and Dev not getting it right. 1 more question. Let's take a look at this. Better known as the Gunpowder Plot, the Jesuit treason was a failed assassination attempt against the English King James I in 1605, a plot led by which individual? Is it Robert Catesby, Christopher Wright, Guy Fawkes, or Ambrose Rookwood? Lovely chord. And 2 players getting that right. Also the mole and Dev both getting that one right. And that is the end of round 2. Robert Catesby was the answer, incidentally, not Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes was executed later, but the ringleader was Robert Catesby, who was killed at the scene, shot and killed. Guy Fawkes had the rather undignified end of being hanged, drawn and quartered. And that is the end of round 2. So, at the end, yeah, keeping it light, remember the 5th of November was in the forefront of my mind. The end of that round, Dev has got 20, Shapes is on 30, as is Claire, Natter's on 10, and also the mole is on 50. So, at this point, If you can root out the mole will be eliminated. But if not, it is going to be Natter who gets eliminated if you can't find the mole as the lowest scoring player in that round. You know the drill. 15 seconds. Who's the mole? It's very rigorous. Welcome to the stream, Milklight. Good to have you with us. Okay. There we go. One thing that I am now thinking, it might be kind of better moving forwards to have, and this plays into Jack's idea of having people in voice chat, might be good to actually have identifiable names of people, because it does change the dynamic of the game depending who you're playing against. So I might ask at the end of this round. Well, I'll do this first, and then I am going to ask also the mole to identify themselves, just in the interest of purely in terms of fairness for other players. If it is jogging, because I know 3 different people have told me 3 different things, so... but yeah, if that person could identify themselves genuinely, that would be very helpful. First of all, let's find out who you voted for. Right, Dev has voted for Shapes, Shapes has voted for Dev, Nat has voted for Claire, Claire has voted for Shapes, and also the mole has voted for Dev. So we have 2 for Dev, 2 for Shapes, and 1 for Claire, which means there is no majority consensus, which means the mole has evaded detection once again. I think that's how it works. Yes, the mole has evaded detection, which means we know now that it is going to be Natter who is going to be leaving us, sadly. But before all that, let's reveal the mole. Who is the mole? It's Dev again, and I realised I was about to say it halfway through the next round. The mole can be the same person again. The mole is reselected, but yes, the mole can be the same. I realised if I said that halfway through round 2, that would have been a massive clue. So I decided not to say that. And I've also realised I have it debugged who the mole is, and I'm now realising that's a really bad idea because I've got to be very careful about not giving anything away. So that's definitely a note. I'm going to get rid of even my knowledge of who the mole is. I don't want to know in my console. I'm going to try and ignore it the best I can, but probably unsuccessfully. But getting that not Guy Fawkes answer right so quickly was pretty sus. It was a bit. So that's all the little things that can help to identify who the mole is. But there we go. It has been confirmed Natter is the lowest scorer that round. Dev was just behind you, only scoring 20 despite being the mole. But Natter, I'm afraid, thank you for playing, but goodbye. Why is that not ticking? It was earlier and it's not anymore. Anyway, on to round number 3. So, could I ask... Also, the mole, could you genuinely please identify yourself, just so that it's fair on the other players in the game who is playing? It's you, Jack, is it? Is it actually? Oh no! Seriously, guys. Honestly, in the interest of integrity of the game, please, can you just? It's Sam, right? Thank you. Right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, no, I like jokes and stuff, and I'm all up for banterous humour. When I've genuinely asked for something for the purpose of the game, it's kind of important that I know. So 3 people saying it's me isn't helpful. So thank you for clarifying. Samster is also the mole at this point, just for the other players in the game and anyone who's wanting to vote along at home, just so you know who is in that seat. So, your banked scores. Samster's up to 90, Claire and Shapes are on 80, and Dev is on 60. Despite being the mole twice, Dev currently have the lowest score, which, like I say, is, yes, the mole is Dev. Well, it might be, he hasn't been selected yet. In this round, you will not see the scores as they are populated. You will only see, whether you were right or not, but you will... you won't see what everyone else has got until the end, which means the mole has a slightly more difficult job in judging how everyone else has done. They can't just play keep it up, keep up with the scores that are in front of them. That sounded dodgy. So Yes, it does make the mole job a little bit harder, but again, we're down to an even number of players, so the mole will require 3 players to identify them in order to be eliminated. Not that it is exactly the point, but you don't want to do not too well, because if you end up as a tied lowest scoring player, you're the first one to be eliminated. So, let's go on to round number 3. First of all, let's re-roll the mole. I'm not looking. I'm going to try not to look over there. I'm going to concentrate on my questions. The mole has been selected. So, 5 more questions coming your way. Here's the first. Immortalised by Renaissance artists including Caravaggio, Mantegna, Botticelli and Titian, who is the perpetrator of Holophane's beheading? Is it Rebecca, Judith, Sarah or Delilah? It's Judith. Judith beheading Holophanes. So yes, this one it has to be unanimous. So again, the mole has got a slight advantage here. Outrageous gentilis Shierasia. Yes. Fashion Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, Judith beheading Holophanes from the Deuterocanonical, I can't remember how to pronounce that word, I wrote it down earlier. It was going to be in the question, and I changed my mind. From the semi-canonical book of Judith, Judith beheads Holophanes. We don't know who got it right. You will know if you got it right, but no one else will. Judith was the answer. Next question. Recipient of the 2018 Academy Award for Best Picture, who directed the film The Shape of Water? Was it Paul Thomas Anderson, Christopher Nolan, Jordan Peele, or Guillermo del Toro? There's everyone in. Guillermo del Toro, and it's about fish. A fish person. That's all I know about it. Guillermo del Toro is the answer. Question number 3. He was the second person to hold the offices of both US Vice President and US Secretary of State. Edmund Randolph, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Aaron Burr. Pretty much the Little Mermaid. Thomas Jefferson, interesting one. He was the 3rd president, but the 2nd VP and the 2nd US Secretary of State. There were people in that role before, but it had a different title. John Adams, I think, was the 1st Secretary of State and the 2nd president, possibly. Edmund Randolph was also one of them. Normally I'd have all my notes on hand, but I don't. Thomas Jefferson was the answer. 2 more questions. We don't know what the scores are. Let's go on to the next. Which species of whale is generally recognised as the 2nd largest on Earth? Second question, if that makes sense. Here are your options. The fin whale, the right whale, the sperm whale, or the bowhead whale? It's the fin whale, second only to the blue whale, which is very, very big. One more question in this round 3. Here it is. What is the official language of Cambodia? Is it Burmese, Dzongkha, Malay, or Khmer? And there's all answers in. Khmer is the answer. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Jack thinks it's Burmese. It's not. It's Khmer. That is the end of round 3. So, at this point, I have now looked at who the mole is. We don't know how you've scored, but you know how you've scored. Let's reveal the points. And you've got to hark back to which questions they got right and which questions they got wrong as well. Dev scored 20, Shapes scored 30, Claire scored 20, and Samster scored 30. 20, 30, 20, 30. 2 with 30, 2 with 20. I'm just going to say the same things over and over again. Kermar. Kermar the frog. Nicosia. Is that not... you pronounce it Nicosia? Okay. Cool. Khmer. Let's go with that. You know the drill. 15 seconds. Who's the mole? 10 extra points if you can tell me in the lobby game. You need 3 people to correctly identify the mole to eliminate them. Good luck. 15 seconds. Harmony. Time. Okie dokie. Let's see who you all voted for. 3 of you voting for Also the Mole. And Also the Mole voting for Claire. Not one of the high scorers here. So if you have identified the mole is about to be eliminated. If not, it's going to be either Dev or Claire as the lowest scorers this round. Let's reveal, please. Who is the mole? It's Claire! Claire was the mole that time. Which means Dev is going to be breathing a sigh of relief because the mole takes priority if they are a tied low scorer. And actually, if we had gone straight to bank, and this is a question I do want to bat around in the theorists channel, is it better to prioritise bank or the mole? The idea being, if you're the mole, there's no reason not to get 5 out of 5, other than it's maybe a bit more obvious. Also, is it too hard being the mole in this round without seeing the scores? Is one of the key questions I had. Samson, she was just way too slow to answer. Just discuss me regardless. Well, very interesting. Had Claire not been the mole, it would have been Dev facing the axe. But unfortunately, Claire, you are the mole. You weren't identified, but you were tied lowest. And as the mole, it means you take priority. Thanks for playing. Goodbye. Round 4, getting a little bit tricky at this point. We're down to Dev, Shape, and Also the Mole. If we have a unanimous consensus of 2 people select the one player who is the mole will be eliminated. If not, it will be the lowest scoring player. 5 more questions coming your way in round 4. But first of all, let's re-roll the mole. Not looking at my console. The mole has been selected. Samson with the bank advantage. Shapes is just 10 points behind, and Dev, little way to go on 80, but it's this round that counts. 5 more questions coming your way. Good luck. Here's the first. The experimental piece of music Vexations, which is headed with an instruction to play a theme and 2 variations 840 times, was a posthumously published work by which eccentric French composer? Maurice Ravel, Olivier Messiaen, Francis Poulenc, Eric Satie. Vexed indeed. Topper, no, it wasn't at that point. If the mole is the low scorer, or tied low scorer, they are out irrespective, which is another reason, classical music question drink, another reason it'd be good for me not to know who the mole is, because then only the mole knows they're eliminated and everyone else has got that same tension until at least the votes are revealed. The answer is Eric Satie. I can't even remember how to play it, which is probably a good thing. It's bonkers. It's about a minute and 20, played 840 times. I took part in a team version of it when I was a third year student, I think. It's not particularly tuneful, but it was written by Eric Satie. On we go to question number 2. The short-lived historical fiction series The Borgias starred Jeremy Irons as Rodrigo Borgia, a corrupt pope who is also known by which papal name? Alexander VI, Gregory IX, Pius III, Innocent VIII. No, there wasn't, Topper, other than A, no one else knew that Claire was going to be eliminated, and B, the lobby players and possibly the hot seat players next time we play get an extra 10 points for identifying the mole, so there are still points at stake for it, so it's still relevant. It's not relevant for Claire. Claire knows she's going, but there is still a larger game at stake, as it were. Colo the first. Possibly no, is Alexander the Sixth, guilty of monstrous crimes, but portrayed by Jeremy Irons. Originally it was 20. I think I pulled it back to 10 because of the disparity between the lobby and the hot seat game. But yeah, that's to be discussed. Alexander VI was the answer. Question number 3. The Labour MP Joe Cox, who was assassinated in 2016, represented which parliamentary constituency? Southend West, Enfield Southgate, Batley and Spen, Northampton North. Batley and Spen is the answer. The other, Compassion Flames, welcome to the stream. Could you wait the lowest scorer draw so if the mole gets a confidence vote, but it's a joint low scorer, they stay in? Or is that too? I'll read that in properly in a minute. Stick it in the suggestions, Compassion Flames. I'm going to focus on finishing the game, and then I do want to have these conversations. All of the other constituencies are constituencies of assassinated MPs. Batley and Spen was the constituency of Joe Cox. That's question 3. We don't know the scores at this point. Well, let's go on to question number 4. Good point, Jack. Yeah, that was short-sighted. Apologies for that. I haven't really got any excuses for that other than short-sightedness and not really thinking through the questions tied to the game. Apologies. After creating a perpetual motion machine, Lisa Simpson is told by Homer, "In this house, we obey the laws of what? Motion, physics, electromagnetism, thermodynamics." Thermodynamics. In this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics. I don't know the rest of the context of the episode, but thermodynamics was the answer. One more question in this round. Good luck. Fought between 1856 and 1860. Which nation allied with Britain against China during the Second Opium War? Germany, Spain, France, or Italy? And there's your time up. France is the answer, allied with the British Empire as it was, and the French Empire in the Second Opium War against China. That's the end of question 5 and the end of round 4. So, after that, let's have a look and see how you scored. Dev picking up 20 points, Shake's picking up 30, and Samsa also picking up 30. There was one question that defeated all of you by the looks of it, question number 2. Well done if you got that one in the lobby. So, time to vote for who you think the mole is. If there is a unanimous decision, 2 out of 3, then the mole will be going home. If not, it is Dev who is going to be biting the bullet, so to speak, as the lowest scorer this round. 15 seconds to vote. Who's the mole? All voted, and very quickly. And there we go. Right. Let's have a look and see who you voted for. Also the mole, and Shapes. So Samster has got a majority vote. If Samster is the mole, Samster's going home. If he's not, Dev is going home as the low scorer. Let's find out. Who is the mole? For the third time, Dev was the mole. Compassion Flames, you can join the Discord there if you have an account. If not, I'm sure Score will note down your suggestion. Yes, once again, Dev being the mole, but unable to see how his opponents are playing. He's actually ended up as the low scorer anyway, so Dev has known for some time that he is going to be the mole. Dev, we will value your input and Claire's as the only two players who have seen the mole interface. I'm thinking an idea, because what they have is they have the 4 options as text boxes and then correct and incorrect at the bottom, so I don't know if that is going to be more limiting for them and make them answer slower because they've perhaps got more scrolling to do, what might make more sense would be to put correct, or the correct answer as a pressable button, and then the other three as non-selectable, and then an incorrect. I don't know. I'll give it some thought, but would appreciate the feedback on that. Yeah, it would have been Shapes next as the one with the lower bank, but Dev had the lower score, was also the mole. So, Dev, you got 3 attempts to be the mole. You've got to the end of round 4. You weren't rumbled, but unfortunately, you didn't play well enough. Thanks for playing. Goodbye. Could just highlight the correct answer. I'm not quite sure how to do that unless I put it in another text box at the top, but I'll catch up on that in a bit. So, Shapes and Samster, we come to the final, and this is where the game takes an interesting turn, and question 5 is the most interesting of the lot if we get there. Here are the rules. Remaining 2 players now go head-to-head in a battle of knowledge and wits. The player with the highest bank starts in control of the game and will face up to 5 additional questions. If there's a tie, which there isn't for tonight, but if there's a tie, then it will go on to fastest player overall over the course of the game. And here's Quizzy Dan with a party of 19, raiding in Meredith, Dan, Aquasulis, welcome to the stream. He's just in time to catch the end of The Mole, new game, piloting tonight. And Helen is just filthy. Is that right? Welcome, Raiders. Lovely to have you here. Just explaining the rules of the final, hackbox.ca if you would like to join in for these last few questions. So it's going to be Samster who's going to start in control. 0. The controlling player will have 5 options per question, the standard 4 answers, and an additional option of correct. If they are incorrect, control switches to their opponent. If they are correct, their opponent will have to determine whether they answered fairly or not. If they so choose, the non-controlling player can accuse their opponent of taking a free answer. If the controlling player is rumbled, they lose the game immediately. If the controlling player is falsely accused, they win the game immediately. Oh, that was... Okay, so the game can end prematurely depending on whether you think your opponent has got there fairly or not. Remember, sometimes throwing an answer, if you know it and you don't want to keep control, could be a valid strategy, just something to bear in mind. Incidentally, non-controlling players still answer as normal because if you end up winning, you still get 10 points for every question you get right. Likewise in the lobby game at home. Incidentally, in the lobby game, if you accuse someone correctly, you get an extra 10 points. If you falsely accuse someone, you lose 10 points. This is the only one where there's only one option to accuse. If you don't want to accuse, just ignore it. It's a big red button, so you have to go, do I want to press it or not? If you falsely accuse, you lose 10 points in the lobby. If no accusation is made after a correct answer, gameplay continues with the same player in control. After 5 questions, if no accusations have been made, the player in control wins the game. It's as simple as that. Knowledge and wits. Those are the rules of the final. So similar-ish subjects, there's a little bit of variance, and I've got a question mark if we get there over question 5 as to whether it should be more puzzly. To be discussed. So, Samster, you're going to start in control. Shapes, answer this question as normal anyway. If Samster is right, you have to determine whether he got it right of his own volition or whether he used the correct button to cheat his way there. Good luck. Here's the first question. Named after a prominent European city, what is the name of Juliet's suitor in Shakespeare's foremost tragedy, Romeo and Juliet? Toledo, Paris, Lubeck, or Vienna? The answer was Paris. Again, this one, the difficulty curve resets and they gradually ramp in difficulty throughout this one. So, the answer was Paris. Was Samster right? Yes, he was. He goes green. Shapes, you've got 15 seconds to decide now. Did he get that right on his own? Or did he use his magic correct button? If you want to accuse and you're wrong, you lose the game. If you want to accuse and you're right, you win the game. If you don't want to accuse, leave it blank. 15 seconds, Shapes. he going to hit that button? Is anyone in the lobby going to hit the button? He's let time elapse. Shapes thinks Samster got there of his own volition, or if he doesn't want to risk it at this point. Anyone who decided to risk that in the lobby and accuse Samster, did he get it right on his own? Yes, he did. He's an honest John on that question. He got it off his own knowledge. He stays in control. We'll have another 10 points added to his bank if he wins. Lose 10 points, I'm afraid, if you accused Samster there. Yes, you can accuse as well. You lose 10 points for a false accusation, though. Tremendous knowledge. Tremendous knowledge. Samster, next question. When referencing goal-setting criteria, the mnemonic acronym SMART refers to targets that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and what? Time-bound, temperate, tangible, or therapeutic? Samster has locked in. The answer is time-bound. Time-bound. Did Samster get that one right? He didn't. Samster was incorrect on that one. It doesn't say what he went for, whether he knew that and got it wrong on purpose because he wanted to pass control, or he just didn't know it. But he can't accuse you because you got it wrong, Samster. So it just skips the accusation phase. You can only accuse on a right answer because you haven't got an incorrect button. You've only got a correct button and the 4 options. So control now passes over to Shapes. 140 in your bank. I don't know how you've been performing on the other question, Shapes, but if you do win, you will take any correct answers from this round into your bank. Here's question 3. The epic coronation anthem I Was Glad, most popularly set by the composer Charles Hubert Hastings Parry, uses text taken from which book of the Bible? Revelation of John, Psalms, the first book of Kings, or the Acts of the Apostles? Shapes is in. It's Psalm 122 to be specific. That one. Always used at the coronation of monarchs. So, was Shapes correct? Yes, he was. So, Samster, decision for you. Did Shapes get that from his own knowledge? Or did he use his magic correct button? Also, if you want to accuse in the lobby, -10 if you're wrong, +10 if you're right. Samster, dare you accuse Shapes? 15 seconds. Are you going to accuse? He has let time elapse. Samster thinks that Shapes got here on his own. Did he? Yes, he did. Right not to accuse Samster. Shapes' knowledge doing him a solid there. He did know that off his own back. No accusations yet, with 2 questions to go. But I think he guessed. I see the meta games going on here. Shapes, you are still in control as we go to question number 4. The University of St Andrews, named for the town in which it is located, is found in which historic county of Scotland? Fife, Aberdeen, Midlothian, Inverness. Shapes in quite quickly. Is he in quickly because he knows? Or is he in quickly because he wants to make it look like he knows? The correct answer is Fife. And Shapes was right. Another decision coming your way, Samster. Did Shapes know that? Or was he trying to make you think he knows that? Do you accuse? 15 seconds. Oh, there is the klaxon! Or the scary klaxon which cuts out all the music and stops all of the interface devices. If you didn't get a chance to accuse before Samster hit his accuse button, then I'm afraid you're not going to get a chance to now. Samster has accused Shapes of getting that question with dishonest means. He thinks he might have cheated. I press the button one more time. If that is a real accusation, if that is a valid accusation and Shapes cheated his way to that answer, Shapes will be eliminated and Samster will be the winner. If that is a false accusation, Samster will be eliminated and Shapes will be the winner. Shapes doesn't know anything about where universities may or may not be. Perfect move from Sam, inspired. He works at the universities. Well, if it's any consolation, the next one would have been a snooker question, which I get to save for another time. Let's have a look. Samster, were you all right to accuse him? Was Shapes the mole? He wasn't! That was a false accusation. He got there on his own. And Shapes is the winner. And that's the end of the game. That's the mole. GG's, a bad accusation from Samster there, and Shapes emerges victorious. Very well played. And you bank 180 and we'll go straight to the top of our leaderboard. As I said, at the moment, there are no pennies incorporated into this game for the reasons I outlined before. Yeah, if we could, knock that off now. I think it is. I think the joke has run its course. Let's take a quick look at the players in the lobby, how you got on there, the final scores. I hope this all works. Some players who didn't bank anything, possibly because they were maybe they're on maybe they just decided not to play, but we're going to go through all of them anyway. Catvision picking up 10, TJ getting 30, you're yellow if you were in the hot seat, Clive and Unknown getting 40, AB me getting 50. Let's move up the leaderboard. Ianyo getting 60, as did Grams. Nata got 70, Fernando picking up 100, Podo and Dev both picking up 110.
That was entertaining.
Thank you very much, Compassionate Flames, and thank you for the 100 bits as well. It was slower before. I wasn't anticipating quite as many people, but maybe we could speed it up a bit. I've had complaints in the past that leaderboards go too fast and people can't check their names and stuff, so I can speed it up. There's some more scores there. Into the last two pages, to the top 12. Halo getting 140, Destroy Alex on 150, as is Dragon, as is Stimpson's Angle. Cycle and Colo on 160 there. No one quite getting up to Shapes' 180. Will anyone have beaten them? Let's get into the top 6. Zeus banking 160. Samson with 170. Mark with 170. Lupine, I think that is 190. Toot with 200. But Inca, top of the leaderboard with 220. Well played, Inca. And the global leaderboard, the champions leaderboard, just one player. Shapes doesn't appear on the other one because he gets to go onto the overall leaderboard, where he goes in at number 1 with 180 points. I'll speed the leaderboard up. Yeah, probably. I don't really want to put 10 names on the page because I'd have to redo all the animation. The animation so much, but I'd have to redo all the layout and stuff, and that's but I can certainly speed it up. That's no problem. So Inca finishing top of the lobby game with 220. That would be 220 pennies, and I probably would do gold, silver, and bronze medals there. So a couple of things that I need to talk about. Things that I mentioned to score that I wanted to note down in advance that I thought might come up. And a message from our sponsor, Dev. No message, but thank you very much for the 300 bits there, Dev. That's very kind of you, and thank you for the tool that's allowed me to do this. So 3 points that I had when I did a test run with myself earlier. Are round 3 and round 4 too difficult for the mole? They have no guidance about how strongly to play compared to round 1 and 2, where they get feedback after every question. Curious, actually, that it was the mole who was eliminated both times in 3 and 4, but also they weren't identified. They had the lowest score, so weren't identified. So that's a balance thing. Lovely not having to answer most of the questions. The conundrum, read the final question 5. We didn't get there. Of course, in question 5, there's a natural paradox where it's the last question of the game, and if you're in control, then you automatically win. Maybe the natural paradox balances out because, of course, the logic is never cheat and always accuse is the logic on that final question. You've got to guess if you're in control, because if you cheat, you are going to be accused because it's the last question of the game, and if you don't accuse, you're going to lose. So that's a paradox that we didn't get to see tonight. My hope was kind of that the first few questions were interesting, created an interesting enough spiral of doubt and deceit that we didn't actually get to that point. But that is a problem over question 5 as and when we get there. The one other thing is the elimination priority order, which I mentioned earlier on. I think the logic here was because the mole has effectively got all the answers, if they're tied last, then that's should have cheated better effectively. But it is something I would be interested in having a conversation about. So as difficult as to pull off, should eliminate that player, though I acknowledge that does make it more weakest link. I mean, that was, at one point, Dev, I was thinking it's sort of an inverse weakest link, but I didn't want to get to a weakest link thing where you're voting off the worst player. The original idea was the vote is all that counts, and whoever gets the most votes gets eliminated. But then at that point, it just becomes vote for the player with the most points, or vote for the player with the fewest points. It would be vote for the player with the most because they're the biggest threat to you. And then it becomes a game of you've got to play down, and being the mole is kind of neither here nor there. So that's when I came up with the sort of the balance of if you find the mole is gone. Otherwise, it's conventional quiz. If you're the lowest scorer, you're eliminated. So I felt that was sort of the best balance there. Yeah, the whole point of the game as a mole is to not be in last, but also not to make out that you're so strong, which is why the questions get more difficult as the game goes on. So, yeah. If they don't pull off there. Okay, I think that's fair. I think that was probably my logic for it as well. Look, I look forward to reading all your feedback. If you've got any feedback, chuck it into the Discord. I'm sure there's lots, both visual things and gameplay things. A few practical things, just like having the name thing. Sorry if I got snappy with anybody, but I mean, I just think because of the sort of game, because you need to know who you're playing against. And I really like Jack's suggestion of, would this be better having players in voice chat to have a discussion? That did cross my mind. And I think that could be a way of sort of tweaking the level of this game again and giving it a different sort of meta. So that's something we could maybe explore in a future game. But yeah, I think the need to know who is who. And again, as and when I can get TwitchLip hooked into this, that will be done away with, because I can do I can bring in your avatar or put in your real Twitch name over the top. What that will also do is stop people joining with like 500 incognito players and then having them sit there, which make the leaderboard take forever, and just doing like meme names. If I have it so that when you join, you've got to verify that via your Twitch account, which I can do if TwitchLib works. There's a nice, neat way using a one-time password. But again, the barrier is the TwitchLib compatibility. So at the moment, that's on ice. But that I think would solve a lot of those problems. But yeah, look forward to reading your feedback. Do you want to do a Spacey 4 game, or shall I beat the B? What's the time? Oh, it's 10:30. It's quite late, actually. I'm going to do a beat the B, so I don't think I did it last time. We'll skip the Spacey 4 game for now. Okay, we'll do Spacey 4 game. Far be it from me to disagree with the crowd. No, I'm not doing spontaneous spotlight topper. Absolutely not. But we're very well done to Shapes on winning the first game, though. I hope you enjoyed the experience. Look forward to your feedback. And yeah, so something a bit different. Thanks again to Dev and to Ash for all their work on the Hackbox and the Unity integration. To all our players, to you for playing at home. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay out of trouble. That's spontaneous. I need a sign off. There must be one for this mole thing. Oh, I've updated the credits mesh so I can update the writer credits really easily now. Cool. We'll play that again sometime, and look forward to your feedback. Stay tuned for Spacey 4 game coming up in just a few minutes' time. And that times out quite nicely. Hello, Ash. Welcome to the stream. Ash, can I pick your brain sometime over this compatibility thing? I've got a rough idea of what it's relating to. It's because the TwitchLib version I've got references Newtonsoft 11, and put the camera back on, and the one in Hackbox is Newtonsoft 12, and I can't find a way to make them work because I need to access a Newtonsoft using the assembly definition, because that's how the question packs are put together. But if I could borrow you for half an hour at some point just to talk it through and show you my woes, I would be eternally grateful. Right, Spacey 4 game coming up, and let's say look forward to reading your feedback on that. When the stream is done, where is Spacey 4 game? There it is. Bonus mole pennies available now. Mole 17, if you want to claim that. Better lose. Wrong game. Let's beat the B. Well, the computer held together, which is something. Again, apologies if I got a bit snappy with people. I think it's the pressure of a new game and wanting everything to work. It's sometimes it's a case of slightly read the room if I'm having a meltdown over something. And also, apologies for that enormously short-sighted question, which I thought was a perfectly good question, but actually in the context of the game with the gunshot at the end, that was really silly and short. Like I said, short-sighted more than anything. It wasn't anything malicious, but genuinely apologies if, for any offence caused over that. That was my bad. Right, player 2, welcome to the stream. Let's just stop that bonus right there as we go into Spacey 4 game. Left or right, make your choice. Let's bolster the left. Which way are you going? Extra pennies to the winner. I probably should do a couple of these. It'll make up for the not having pennies attached to the mole right there. But on the plus side, I know it's a slow leaderboard, but on the plus side I did do it. I did build one, at least, which I don't always do. Oh, hello, Bob. And Dogfish, welcome to the stream. Chance to win some pennies. We'll have a couple of quick games of this. And then I will go and read your feedback and implement it all tomorrow. Lovely to have you both here. Hope you're well. I hope you enjoyed any of the mole that you caught maybe at the end there. Oh, Jack just getting in the nick of time. Well, I'm out. Jack, Dogfish, score 2, DMC, Stimpson's Angle, player 2, Milk Light, Shapes, Proust, Lupin, and AB Me. Left or right, for 260 pennies. This ball's just piling up. Oh, and those ones as well. Oh no, they're separating now. I'm trying to think, would it be better or worse to make it 1 penny every time you enter, but it reiterates every time you come in? Or maybe 5. I don't know. Jack. Oh, Jack forfeits his go, and the rights drop out of the game. Dogfish 2, Milk Like, Shapes, Lupine, and AB Me. You are left. A bit late, Jack. You leave it to the last second, that's what's going to happen. And just wait for Toot. And there he is. Let's finish that clock. It's down to Dogfish and AB Me. Left or right? For 260 pennies. Which way are you going? Who's going to break cover first? You can't bag Tadaru. By being in the same half. Oh, okay, so we have split. Well, let's have a look and see who's going to win 260 pennies. It's Dogfish! Maybe me, you mess up again. Oh, bad luck. Dogfish, you have earned yourself 260 pennies from that. Well played. They should have been written to your account now. Okay, again, we're Teletubbying. All right, one more. Get your balls in. I wonder if I can change the colours. Let's have a look. Materials. I've got blue glow. Can I make it more of a green? Ooh. More of a yellow. Actually, I'm not going to do that because the fonts are coloured appropriately as well, aren't they? So that would just be confusing. Hello, Palmer Ben. Welcome to the stream. You get a ball in? Did you get a ball in? Yes, you did. You're on the right. 240 pennies. Have I entered this one? Yes, I have. Rift. That's indecisive. There's a Podo coming in. Oh, my dog's playing with the fire, but he's outside the fire. 270 pennies then. And the left losing. TJ, Jack, Kirstuken, Toot, Bob, Pummer, Ben, Innis, Shapes, Simpsons Angle, Todaro, Sock Space, Player 2, and Proves. Left or right? There we go, everyone accounted for. Oops, let me bring my controllers back up. Pretty evenly split there, slightly more on the right. And it's the right who've dropped, so we're down to 6. TJ, Toucan, Bob, Ben, Innocent, and Daru. For 270 pennies, left or right? TJ, Ben? Oh, have we got a winner here in Innis? The only player going right this time? No, we haven't. Bad luck, Innis. The power of the hive mind is working out there. TJ, Toucan, Bob, Ben, and Tadaru. Left or right? Oh, right is fair. Kursuken's gone left. Bob has gone left. We have got a split. Let's finish it off. Oh, out you go. It's TJ, Ben, or Tadaru. Could be the final one here for 270 pennies. Tadaru's gone right. Ben and TJ have gone left. Whoops. Oh, shit. I changed the wrong box. You're about to be awarded 5 pennies. Let's see. It's between TJ and Ben now. Who's gonna win? So it's gone on a long time. Left or right? Ben goes left. And TJ's gone right. You have split. Best of luck to you both. TJ, you are the winner of 270 pennies. Bad luck to Ben there, dropping at the end. But that data should have been written to the drive and updated now. No more. That's it. Just 2. I need to go read all your messages. Yeah, that's where it ends for tonight. I'm afraid. Doesn't know what he wants. No. What's happening over there? Let's look for someone. Huds is rewatch. I'm not going to raid Huds because I haven't raided him for ages. Right, that's it. Longer stream than anticipated. I think just because going over explanations and sort of half reading the feedback at the same time, that the mole lasted slightly longer than I thought it would. Accidental bumper stream, yeah. Stuff's gonna stuff, of course it is. No horses, not tonight. Anyway, that is going to be it for tonight. But thank you all so much for joining me. Look forward to reading your feedback. As I said, I will respond to everyone even if I don't implement it all. I've got a few ideas myself, but it was really useful to have that played in real time, so to speak. And I hope you all enjoyed it. And again, thanks to Dev and to Ash for their work on Hackbox and the integration, respectively. Means things like that, new ideas are possible. I'm gonna go to Discord. We're gonna go raid Huds because we haven't raided him for ages. He's a Sonic speedrunner. He's just been to what's the speedrunning tournament in Sweden this week? I think it was Switzerland, one of them. This last weekend, I think he's doing a watch back. But he's a good lad. So Break the Record Live. That was one. Thank you, Kirstuken. So we're gonna go raid him, and we're going to say moly, 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 moly. That's an Austin Powers reference for anyone who missed that. Thank you all very much for playing. I'll be back on Thursday. I haven't done any continuity and I've already set the raid going. Ash is here tomorrow with stuff, Relativity and Secret Fortune. Topper's back on Sunday with Strike It Lucky and Moneybags. I am back on Thursday with Risky Business and something else. Risky Business and Crossfire. Hack of the Pyramid and Escape Artist on Saturday. All of the things, go follow them. Go follow the guys. Not very much continuity at the end there, but go follow them if you're not already. And come back for me on Thursday, 8 PM GMT for Crossfire and Risky Business. That's all for now. Look forward to your feedback. Thank you very much for playing. Be splendid and wonderful and marvellous and safe. And until next time, you've been watching Game Night. I've been Royal Flush. Take care. Peace out and good night.